speak? Was she out of it? I don't know the level of intoxication that was going on. But remember, this is with a minor.
She alleges that when she wakes up, she finds Clavicular again having sex with her without her consent.
And so, this is not ideal.
In the car, she claims that Clavicular and his friends snorted this white, powdery substance. She claims she refused to participate in this.
And so perhaps they were sniffing creatine. She was not. We're not sure. Not sure if that's relevant, but she is adding this to her complaint.
Peters told Mendoza that he wanted to inject her with this product to melt fat on her cheeks as part of his promise to help her with her online presence through looks maxing.
You got a kid, she's 16 years of age, and she's listened to a claviculum telling her, oh, I'm a doctor, this is good stuff, it's FDA approved, whatever, and I'm going to inject this in your face. Trust me, bro, I know what I'm doing.
During this session, Peters stated or implied that he was acting with medical authority, including by referring to himself as a doctor.
I mean, can a 16-year-old actually consent to this? I mean, is it actually legal? And in case you're wondering, this was caught in 4K. It was streamed. I'm going to play the video almost right now.
Plaintiff did not provide legally valid consent for Peters to inject her. Plaintiff's parent or legal guardian did not consent to Peters injecting plaintiff.
And so he didn't say, is it okay, let's go and see your parents? I mean, you're not even allowed to get a tattoo without your parents' consent when you're a minor. And so what makes Clavicular think he could inject this substance into her face when he doesn't even know what he's doing?
At the time of the injection, Peters knew that Mendoza was a minor. As he commented online, she's still a minor.
He's admitting this in 4K. It's caught on camera. And so let's watch this video for yourselves. Remember, I've already done a video on this saying, what is wrong with you? And for people to follow Clavicular and think that this is okay, he's injecting substances into the face of a 16-year-old. Imagine if you were parents. All right, so let's watch this shit. Right there, he's injecting her.
That's crazy.
$4 freaking for this. After he pulls the needle out, he rubs his thumb on her face. Mepsigram, you're an eye surgeon. Is that standard procedure care?
He's supposed to, like, take his alcohol swab again. I mean, definitely don't put your finger in there.
I've done a lot of steroid shots in my life, probably more injections than she has. And the last I checked, you don't.
I've done 0.
I don't do this and do your shot and then go exactly on the spot. Could you get an infection?
Yeah.
It's not good. It's dangerous. You don't touch it. And then notice where he rubs after. He doesn't even rub on the spot. Well, let me inject you right here. Puts his thumb on it and then rubs a swab below it. Does he look like he knows what he's doing? Let's look at the comment sections here. Holy dialed. Win Dr. Clav injecting math in a 17-year-old. For real.
Chat, we're looks maxing her. It's all good. Dr. Clav? Yeah.
I am not a fan of Clav, but I don't believe for 1 second that she believed that he was a doctor. I mean, are women so cooked that you can convince them of everything? Hi, go up to the most attractive girl in the bar and say, I'm a billionaire. I'm a doctor, a surgeon, and I am working with Coach Greg. They're not going to believe you. They know better than that. And so there's no way you can convince me that she thinks that he's actually a doctor. I'm not even a freaking doctor.
Mendoza's right cheek has perforated. During the video, Peters stated or suggested that methamphetamine had been added to the injection mixture.
Perforation and adding in math into this Aqualux fat dissolvent? Does that sound like something you should do? Like, think of it. And how can Kick allow this? Last I checked, at least on YouTube, we're not allowed to do illegal activities. And so I don't think we should be promoting this. I don't think they should be allowing this. Like, actively showing adults working with children, injecting them? How is this okay?
After the first injection, plaintiff appeared drugged on camera. Plaintiff believes that she may have been injected with methamphetamine or another undisclosed substance.
I mean, I have no words. Y'all think Clavicular is cool. What's a problem is that in 2026, people just want to see the most ridiculous things in the world. They don't care if people are going to die, if people's lives are ruined. They just want to be there to witness it. It's like having a car wreck and you cannot look away.
She does claim that they did see each other other times, claims that he would pay bouncers to let her into bars, get drinks for her.
Paying bouncers to let a 16, 17-year-old into the bar getting alcohol, which I believe you're supposed to be 21. How is this allowed? How is this okay?
Then she alleges that in 2026, Clavicular embarks on this campaign to discredit her, and she ultimately loses sponsorships and sponsorship opportunities.
And she's claiming that he then basically goes against her, defames her. She loses a $15,000 a month sponsorship. And for what?
Count 3, fraud. So this is about Clavicular allegedly not telling her he wasn't a licensed healthcare provider.
It's a little much, fraud. You really think a 19-year-old is, I mean, she's friends with this guy, they've had contact. Did she really think he was a physician, a 19-year-old? Even if he was smart enough to do it, he couldn't have gotten the licensing. It takes time. And so there's no way a 16-year-old could be this dumb. And so to say fraud, even though I don't like Clavicular, I don't think they're going to prove that one.
He wasn't a licensed healthcare provider and didn't have the authority to inject her before allegedly doing so.
I like how they say allegedly when it's literally like I'm literally watching him do this. Like, allegedly has injected her with acrylics, and it's like you're watching him inject it, put his thumb on it, and then do the swabby thing after, and there's comments talking about it. Allegedly. Everyone's so scared to get sued.
And you follow that with the allegation that he didn't tell her that she needed to have parental consent. Allegedly didn't tell her that this drug, Aqualax, was not FDA approved.
Imagine not telling her about it being FDA approved. Like, I can't imagine what parties y'all teenagers going out. Like, Clavicular is perhaps 18 or 19 here with a 16-year-old. Oh, do you want to use this substance? Oh, before I take the substance that you're going to inject, it's an FDA approved. Like, imagine how many teenagers watching this video right now, and you're a parent, you're watching this, imagine how many of your kids are doing this, they're not telling you about it. How many of them are taking Retta? Or IGF-1? Or CJC-1295? GHRP6? How many people do you think are taking peptides that are not FDA approved from some sketchy research chemical site? In comparison, you go to Alvorex, only FDA approved. Nothing there is not approved, and it's prescribed from medical doctors from compounding pharmacies. And so, for example, Retta 2 Tri, you've heard of this, going to help you to burn some fat. Clavicular has stated in multiple videos that he was taking 12 milligrams per week or more. It's not FDA approved. Yeah, they're experimenting on it, but if you're using it, essentially you're the guinea pig. And so if you want to get actual peptides, actual supplements from doctors that you don't want to have any question about its legitimacy, AlgoRx code reg 10% off.
While speaking of that, Clavicular's attorney, Steve Kramer, adamantly denies the claims, releasing a statement.
Adamantly denies the claims. Adamantly. I didn't do that. And so, is this in fact AI? Was this all staged? It was AI. They weren't actually doing it. He was perhaps at home sleeping, and it wasn't me. But we caught you on camera. It wasn't me. I'm sick of hearing about this guy. Yeah. He's a literal math head and needs to go to rehab than jail. He's such a weirdo, needs psych and prison. Dude's clearly not even into women. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. He's probably into both. If your son is looking up to Clavicular as a role model, then you have failed as a father. Absolutely agree. Jail maxing. The video of him injecting her blew up on X. He is cooked. She should sue the mom, too, for what happened in her home. I mean, yeah. Is it not the mom or perhaps the grandma that were there, the adults that were providing the alcohol in that home? They're both not old enough to buy alcohol.
Really, there's no debate that this thing happened because you've recorded this on video.
As you can see, there's no debate that this actually happened. It's been recorded and streamed live. Perhaps millions of people have seen this.
She's claiming in excess of $50,000. Now, what that is just a standard that they set when they file the suit. She can claim hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I think is what she's going for here.
She's suing for a minimum of $50,000. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's staying somewhere most likely between $100,000 and $500,000. Let's call it $250,000. This is not something minor.
Even if that was said in jest, the action alone is enough here.
He said it in jest, but apparently you can still get sued for this. You can go to jail for 5 years. I mean, I feel like that's not going to happen, but hey, I'm not a lawyer.
Clavicular's potential max criminal exposure is up to 30 years in prison.
You know he's not going to get 30 years, but to say up to 5 years, perhaps that's possible. We all know there's other things going on in Clavicular's life. He seems to be up to no good.
And that's where these settlements to get rid of these claims come in. I see this in the six-figure range at a minimum, 100K to about 500K, somewhere in that range.
And so he believes most likely a settlement will eventually occur between $100,000 and $500,000. Remember, that's just a guess, an estimate. Who knows what may actually transpire? We all know that none of this would have happened if he would have just only stuck with Turk Builder Max. Guys, you don't need to do math. You need Turk Builder Max. They both start with an M, but this one is a lot healthier, safer. It's not breaking any laws. And so when you're trying to look smacks, instead of smashing in your face, instead of doing math, instead of doing peptides and all these dangerous things, listen to clavicular. Rather than listen to the clav, listen to the Greg. When in doubt, what would Greg do? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please go to Algorex, code Greg, or HLT Supplements, code Greg. Don't forget to watch any of those two groups to get sponsored or coached or to have my supplements in your stores. Click the link as well. And until next time, je suis parti.
Video. Oh boy.
I didn't like that when Boosie said, because DJ Envy chimed in on it, and then Boosie said, man, set up, we can come over there and talk about it. So you want to charge Vlad 20, 30,000, 30, 40,000, whatever y'all numbers y'all going back and forth with, but you better go over here on this big show, this radio show.
They don't pay nothing
for free.
All right, well, let's get right to it, man. You know, we gotta have the real conversation now, man. You know, it seems as if what used to be your favorite, Boosie, and the guy who put you on in his YouTube journey, Vlad, have had their own personal fallout. It seemed like they were gonna keep this under wraps between them, but now it's falling over to these YouTube streets. And the first person I thought about was, man, what is Gangsta's thoughts on all this? You know, intricate details of all this, and just to give people a quick rundown of what happened is that word comes out that, of course, Vlad paid Tekashi up to $40,000, and Boosie, of course, gets paid about a quarter of that. And Boosie, you know, found that out, and he wanted more. Vlad told him, you know, you don't bring those numbers in. He showed him that your numbers are kind of going down, but I still get you 4 or 5 times a year. But, you know, your numbers don't quite do that. I guess Boosie, whether he's pocket watching or just sent on street code, felt like, nah, I think you need to pay me more regardless. It's been a while since I've been back anyway, and they couldn't meet on terms. I think about $5,000 kept him from making it happen. What are your thoughts, man? This is, you know, this is Louisiana's finest, I guess you could say, going against the YouTube interview king, Vlad. What are your thoughts?
He's not Louisiana finest. Let's just straighten that right now.
Okay, got that. Okay.
Yeah, he a Louisianian now. He stepped for Louisiana, but he ain't that. You know, like, hold on now, slow down.
Yeah.
I think Boosie was wrong on being selfish, because it's like if Boosie a dope dealer, I come to him and he sell me a kilo for 10,000. And I sell that kilo for 50,000. Now I got a plug. Don't worry. You sold it to me. Don't worry about what I'm selling it for. What I'm making. What people get messed up is they think, like I got a guy just hit me just now say, man, my auntie got a good story for you. So you got to cut her a check, a nice check. What make you think that story gonna go crazy? I'm taking a gamble. So every time we pay people to get on our channel, we taking a gamble.
Well, can I go with your analogy of some good dope?
Go ahead.
You sell it for 10. I mean, he sold it to you for 10.
Right.
You go off and flip it for 50.
Right.
He heard through the grapevine that you got it off of 50, and you've been getting it off of 50 for a year.
Right.
So why is he not wrong coming back to you saying, hey, yo, I need like 20 for this key now? Just because he heard that you're getting more for what he thinks. Because he don't got you connect, but he got you though, and you know the product's good.
Right. So now my thing is, because you first of all, you ain't got no other people giving you this.
Right.
Ain't nobody else paying Boosie that kind of money. Nobody else getting him that. I was shocked that he was getting that much.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell going on?
Yeah, because you gotta keep in mind, I done been on there a few times. Tony Yale done been on there, Whack 100, and we all do numbers like that. So, Vlad, you really been undercutting us.
Can I tell you how much we paid Boosie to get on Street Stars?
Yeah.
The first time we got Boosie, we paid him $1,500. That was like 2020, 2019, or whatever it was. He asked to come back on. He said he wanted 8 for one interview. And we're like, we don't think it's all right. So he said, nah, how about I give y'all 2 interviews for 10? We do 2. So we were about to do it, and then, of course, Mo3 passed away. And that week, and it just made everything weird. So we never did. Plus, he got shot in Dallas, and he just never came back. But we were about to do 2 interviews for 10. So to hear that he's getting 25, I'm like, Boosie, that's pretty good.
Man, 25, right?
But that let me know he's looking at Boosie's pockets. I mean, he's looking at Vlad's pockets versus you in charge of up and coming podcast, 25,000 maybe. Maybe you would.
You know what I didn't like? Let me tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like that when Boosie said, because DJ Envy chimed in on it, and then Boosie said, man, set up, we can come over there and talk about it. So you want to charge Vlad 20, 30,000, 30, 40,000, whatever y'all numbers y'all going back and forth with, but you better go over here on this big show, this radio show.
They don't pay nothing.
For free.
For free.
What that payola, that what it's called.
Payola. Payola's when you pay the radio.
You know what I'm saying? You
better go there for free.
So what I'm saying, the radio people, they can't pay because they get in trouble too for paying people to come on their show. Because I remember radio guy contacted me when I first got, he said, man, I can't get in trouble for that.
I've known dudes that got fired for taking payment.
I told you, I said, well, I ain't coming. So, but anyway, for him to say, the thing about it, him and Vlad got a good chemistry.
Yes.
They do their thing together. So for him to tell DJ Emmy, man, hook it up, I'm coming over there, and Vlad, 25 is a lot of money, man, 25,000.
And mind you, and for context, people that don't know, Vlad said, I will pay for my camera crew to come to your spot. I will book me an airline ticket. I know Vlad's probably not gonna fly coach like us normal folks do. He's probably in first class. He said, I gotta pay for a hotel to stay while I'm out there. I know he's not gonna stay in no regular, Motel 6. Right. He's in the high end, so he's spending a lot of money just to say, I'm gonna come interview. All Boosie gotta do is brush his teeth, hop in the chair, and go.
Bruh, 30,000. But you got this how Vlad, and this is another thing. Why Vlad was able to pay him this kind of money, the 25 years did, because Vlad got the membership. Plus, he breaks down clips, so you're gonna get paid off the clips. Yes. That's how he grind. But if Vlad did like I did, just take the interview, just throw it out, because I be seeing people, man, Vlad, we gonna put the whole interview up. He got to bill because he got to work it, because some people don't be want to pay that subscription.
Yes.
So now, if Vlad did how we did, he wouldn't make that much money.
He wouldn't make that much. He'll be kind of saying that. But no, Vlad was actually very candid. So Vlad went on.
Nobody. Are you serious?
Vlad went on his own channel to interview himself, or 1090J interviewed him to talk about this, and he had said, I paid Boosie $25,000. He does about 5-6 million views, and I make about $35,000 on that. So therefore, he's only making about $10,000 profit versus what he spent. And plus, that's not including, if it goes yellow or. The hotel, there's a lot of things that go into play that might not go right. So he's like, I'm going to show this to Boosie. So Vlad is actually giving a game. What are your thoughts on Vlad even giving that much game? Because I think he's changing things for the internet.
No, you think so for you.
I'm in the business too. Because he's changing the game.
Well, no, this is what I think. And this is what people got to understand. Vlad had one of the biggest channels.
Yes.
Millions of views. And
he created paying people for interviews.
Yeah.
He paid you, if we're not mistaken, right?
Well, yeah, you know that already.
Yeah, can you speak on the number that?
So this chick was like, this at the time he was giving Boosie $13,000. So she was like, he be paying Boosie. I said, yeah. So I said, put me on the phone. So she put it was a Sunday. I said, I want $13,000. He said, I can't give you that. He said, I can give you 10. I'm like, all right, let's go. Because
you didn't put no pushback.
You gotta keep in mind, bro. I'm coming from prison The same stories I got on Vlad and talked about, the same stories I was telling for free.
For free.
So you gotta give me 10 grand to tell you these stories?
Wait, and they give you how much money when you leave prison? Like $200 or something?
No, you don't get no money, man. You gonna give you what you got in your account.
Oh, wow. I thought it was like state give you $200.
This is what people just say in the face, like, man, they gonna give you, if you ain't got no money, they gonna give you $250 to go. No, man, they been cut that out.
No,
you got money in your account, yeah, but if you know what they do, they might buy you a bus pass, give you some lunch money. You know, Sunday might put $10, $15 on a thing card for you. Whatever.
Bus pass.
Yeah, get on out of here, beat it. But what was I?
Yeah, no, but so Vlad throws you 10.
Yeah, bro, he gave me $2,000 up front, and then I was like, man,
you might run off with
like play.
Oh.
So we did it out here in Dallas. Somewhere in Dallas, we did the interview. He was at the studio.
Wait, that studio is here in Dallas?
No. His studio, he got one in Cali, one in New York. But the first time we did it, right off the highway somewhere in Dallas, that he booked that studio.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so I had to go there for it. But I was like, I don't know this guy, man. He might beat me because he owed me $8 more. He gave me $2. Yeah. Bro, like, as soon as we wrapped the interview, he said, I'm looking at him on the screen. He said, hold up, let me take care of that for you right now. I said, I'm looking, I'm like, all right, let me see. He doing what he doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. And, bro, that $8,000 hit my account. I said, man, when I can do this again. So, but the thing is, though, let me just say this now, because I feel like Boosie right now.
Talk about it.
10,000 wasn't enough for that interview.
Wait, how many views did that one do?
The whole view by itself at 3 million.
Oh, wow.
So,
I mean, 10,000 is very generous.
But then now you got to think about all the clips he made. Well over 10, 15 million views with that.
But you know how YouTube works. The numbers go up and down as far as what they pay. The RPM. No, I'm saying the RPMs of what it pay out.
That's a fact.
It might have been low back then.
Yeah, it was, because I went in the algorithm.
Yeah, it might have been,
algorithm.
Algorithm.
But we got a good small. You got to start helping us out with the word.
Yeah, dictionary over here.
That's right. Speak up when I'm wrong. Say it.
Right. Yeah. Any word come out wrong, we need to fix it.
So I'm like, boy. But the thing was this. And I'm going to say this again, shout out to Vlad. I'm very grateful for Vlad. Vlad kicked my career off. Then I went over to Real Life Street Star. I made a career.
Yeah, we paid you, we paid $7,500. Yeah.
Right, first time.
That was the most we've paid ever for any interview.
When I didn't believe y'all.
The only person we paid more than that has been, I want to say Charleston White and Gene Deal.
Right. Oh, yeah, y'all gave Gene more than me?
No. We spent more on Gene. He wanted first-class tickets, the best hotels.
Yeah.
So the food,
he
said no, he wanted a per diem per day. Like, I need a per diem, like, just to eat. I'm like, okay, now I feel him. That was business. I'm like, I feel it.
Yeah. So, when y'all gave me that 75, I was like, man, I'm in the money, boy. This is just happening, you know?
Yeah, I was like, that's almost like $20,000.
Bro,
in a month.
When I got that money, that's what let me know I didn't need a manager. Because I was like, y'all was selling the money straight to me, Vlad straight to me, or Jeff straight to me.
Yeah.
I got that money. I said, oh, it's on.
Now everybody's anything.
Oh, yeah, it was just a middle person that we're talking to.
Watch out. Man, get out the way. I got this. So, let me tell you, me and my bro, Will from North Carolina, we were talking today. He be joking, but I think he be serious. Like, man, be your manager. No, I don't need it. I'm the manager.
What do you want to manage? What do you want?
I got it.
No, but what if he's saying I can get you even more money though? Like, I can start booking you for a lot of things.
This is real talk. That's my bro. I love him. And I trust him. With my money.
Yeah.
But ain't nothing like me touching it myself. Listen to me, because I answer all my DM. People know this since I've been here. I answer all my DMs. It's easy to catch OG Diggity. People call to realize, well, Joker, who's never gangster? Vlad, who's never gangster? So, any 607,
I need to eat.
So it's not hard to catch me. I'm the manager.
Yeah, people need to know that you have a business line. You have a business number. You answer that religiously. So therefore, if someone, you're gonna answer the phone. He got two of them. He got a business line, personal line. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I got two.
I got 5 phones though.
Yeah, where they at? You just keep them around.
Yeah.
One from Pac-Man or something?
So I got this for my social media. This is my phone I talk on. I got an iPhone that I record people with. When I do my interviews. The other iPhone I just look on FaceTime when I look at people. And then I got the phone when I first come home, the Android, the one that fold, it come out, right?
You got that one? Oh, yeah.
So when I bought it at the store and I first come home, my mother was like, oh, I like it was $2,000 for that phone. I said, Mom, you want the phone? She said, yeah, I give it to her. And then like a few years later, she had to sit down. I said, "Man, you want? Yeah, I don't want that. Give my phone back then." So I went back to AT&T, got it back on, and I haven't talked on that phone since.
Man, you got a whole family plan.
Yeah.
Can we have one over here? Just
well, you know, we can work something out.
Yeah, just a ring, I guess. I don't know. We need a business line over here.
I'll get another text now number for you. Yeah. Only for Joker.
Oh, yeah, no.
Real life Joker.
Come on now. So, all right, so you don't feel Vlad messed it up by putting the numbers out there.
Let me show you something. Shout out to Vlad for standing
I
up.
need to eat. I'm hungry.
If you'd have fooled, then everybody would have tried to fool. Because now when Vlad, I waited till Vlad called me back. Now I want some more money. No, the truth told to the joke, Vlad. But like for real, like I'm happy he stood on business because it's like Vlad have a brain. Like it's plenty of people want to go on. Listen, maybe people hit me up. I might hit Vlad. I said, "Yo, Vlad," so he said, "Nah, I'm good." He passed up a lot of people.
Yeah, so he gets to pick and choose who he wants. But the problem is, Ari Spears, who he does, the comedian Ari Spears, he found out, he said, "Wait a minute, Vlad only been paying me like less than 5,000."
That's what I'm saying.
So he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm doing this." So he's saying like, "I'm doing this damn as many views as Boosie."
Yeah.
So wait a minute, so it's he's making people go back to the negotiation table.
Right.
Even with real life, they got people coming back to our negotiating table after they said they're gonna do it for the free or for the low. They coming back like, "Hey, I need whoop de whoop." I'm like, "Hey, what the hell?"
And it's another thing. Like I say, this is what people gotta pay attention to. We all have different channels. Meaning, like, when I started my channel, I started my hood stories, and then I branched off to interviewing people. I can't, and look at, whenever I try to interview somebody with a good, heart-touching story, I don't do views.
Why did you stop the hood stories, though? Did you run out of hood stories?
Yeah, I only live so long, so I'm going to start telling lies.
I started telling other people's stories. I started making fables.
People get better. Look, man, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So, and I could have kept going with that stuff, right? So, but I still, some of the stories I can't tell that they got the homicides involved, and people haven't been indicted, and I don't want to go that far. So I got to catch myself all the time, right? But I still got certain little stuff I can still talk about with Magnolia Slam, Chill, certain hood stuff you can talk. But then sometimes you be like, is this interesting? Do people want to hear this stuff? So people be, man, come on, you get some more stuff. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I'll be honest with you, Chelsea has spoiled me. I don't have to do that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Charles White.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm still able to come on my channel and add my little 2 cents.
Fuck.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
You yourself are
too good.
a brand.
Yeah, so I didn't got it where I could make money off myself.
So let me ask you, because Boosie obviously thought that same thing. So Boosie goes, on Instagram and he walks into his room and shows a camera setup saying, "Haha, interview's coming, right? Interview coming, no Vlad." So everybody's like, "Oh, Boosie about to do his own interviews." And I'm like, I guess he's gonna have his family members or somebody interview him. So he actually does the interview, and he doesn't put it out on YouTube. He puts it out on Patreon, which. What are your thoughts on that? Like him saying, "I'm going to do interviews. This is my first time talking to myself or having myself on my platform." He puts it out. You have to pay to watch it. Was that a smart move?
No, not at all. Business-wise, the Boosie was, but it wasn't a smart move. Because let me tell you something. And everybody that's listening, pay attention to this. This is all hating aside. Like I have to tell people in jail, put your pride aside, right? So, what Boosie gonna realize, or what he need to realize, or somebody send him this. People like Boosie and myself, because I piggybacked off him, right? We have hood, poor folks that support us. When you try to charge these people, man, I ain't about to pay that, man, you tripping, they gonna do that.
Even if it's $1.
Bro, I had a Patreon, that stuff don't work. Them people ain't really trying to pay for that stuff, right? Another one, Twitch. I had Twitch. It's hard to get my people from YouTube to go over here.
Yes.
So that's why I just stay on what my strong suit, YouTube.
Yes.
So people realize that down the line, right? So what Boosie have created, he got a big fan base, but they're poor people.
Yes. He thinks those poor people would like to pay to hear him tell his own stories.
They're going to just wait till it's leak over here and watch it.
Like, when the bootleg coming?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People not about to pay that.
Thank you for saying that, because, Boosie has to understand that we are our culture is a bootleg culture. Like, we will take it for free all day, and YouTube is free.
Let me tell you, one of the best to do it, bro.
Yeah, we'll take those commercials.
Shout out to NBA Young Boy. One of the best to do that, boy. Throw that album up on there, because he know he got a hood, poor fan base. But they going to go crazy, support him. And now when I come out to do my show, they come into the concert.
There you go.
Y'all got
Find them in other ways. There you
see what I'm saying? Smart thinking. Now, Boosie, once he get it, or he get around the right people and they give him the game, bro, stay in your house. Just start interviewing yourself. Let people interview you. Put it out on YouTube and watch how crazy your numbers go.
Yeah, nah, Boosie, the best thing he could do, and I don't know why he don't do this, because he be waiting for promoters to book him for shows and do, wipe me down and stuff. He could just say, I'm going to just do my own show and my own interview and just pay people to come watch it. You get the ticket sales up front, plus you get the back end, YouTube, and, you own it all. Like, why you worried? If you're in the mentality of being your own boss, just be your own boss. Man, so I would say, do you feel like Boosie should put the interview strictly on YouTube, regular way? Like, bro, stop trying to gatekeep. Don't worry about the $5 for your interview. Should he just put it out regular on YouTube?
Of course, he gonna make more money on the fan base Boosie have. He's gonna make more money on regular YouTube than Patreon.
That's facts.
Like you said, kill the game.
Your fan base is not buying $5.99 interviews, bro.
Your fan now he'd have did better doing this. Instead of sending, because Patreon, instead of sending them over there, having to pay for a subscription on your own channel, like Vlad do.
Yeah.
Charge them over here, and then they're gonna be, all right, I'm gonna put the credit card in. Well, I don't know what they charge on Patreon, but he got a chance now. Like, if he sit down and got the game, the game on YouTube, that man got a chance to make anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a month, just because of who he is and the relationships he have with other people that he can call on his show.
See, that's the problem. What Vlad tried to explain to Boosie on his channel is that a lot more comes into play when it comes to having a YouTube channel. It's not just Boosie interviews alone. It's a bunch of interviews that pay out throughout the month. And he's trying to tell Boosie, like, hey, if you start your own channel, it's not just your interviews. You got to start now interviewing maybe other people. You got to get Gangsta Williams on now. Like, now that might do some numbers. And there we go. Now you're doing something because now you're residual income all around. Boosie doing one interview once a month on his own channel. Like, ain't nobody, like, who's checking in for this?
For everybody that's listening, when you get on YouTube, when you put a video on there, you have to constantly, because your numbers don't go up, it drops. Your watch time hour will go back down. You got to feed it. You have to feed YouTube. So that means you have to be on it every day. Instead of dropping content, drop something on there to keep feeding, because not your numbers going to go down, not up. But he have enough content to just sit on there and just go crazy. He can vent every day, but he'll make a killer, man.
He'll make a killer. So yeah, right. He has to just get active.
Yeah.
I don't know if Boosie will get active. So with that being said, he does the interview. He puts it out. And me just being a shooter myself, me being a videographer, I'm like, the lighting's a little bad. Vlad lighting was better.
You paid to pay trying to go watch it?
No, I seen the bootleg. So,
look at that. How you see it?
Shout out Seti Nash. Seti Nash put it out.
Shout out my boy Seti Nash.
Like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching Seti and put it out. So I'm like, someone paid for it. So the lighting ain't right. The audio's good, but I'm like, Boosie, come on now. You know Vlad would have had your lighting looking like $100 million. Now you looking like 1,000 or something. So he puts it out. And he has somebody ask some questions. I don't know who's asking some questions, but they're trying to do like Vlad. They're trying to, but they're not Vlad. This is, Vlad and Boosie have a rapport that's like uncanny.
You and I got it.
Kind of like, it's not as good as ours.
Wow.
Damn on that.
Shots
fired. But the dude is trying, and Boosie gets to talking about a movie he shot where he shot a grape scene. Grape scene. So he started talking about, like, yeah, I shot this grape scene. He started, like, wait, let me explain it. It wasn't really grape. It was me just getting on top of a girl who slept with my girl. And he basically spent 3 minutes explaining this graping scene. And I'm like, man, why is this even who's your editor? Like, why is this in the interview? Like, bro, so that's one thing that Vlad did, was Vlad protected him from, I'm sure Vlad, because you always see Vlad is swipe. Even on your interview, like, you might have said something, it swipes like, Terrence, you can't say that, bro. Case is still open. So Vlad will protect people, really. Like, people think Vlad is feds, which, whatever, but from when you see an edit, that means Vlad took something out when the screen swipes. He does that a lot with Boosie. So I'm like, Boosie, you got to take that, bro. Like, you have open cases, bro. You can't be just, explaining how you doing that. So what is the learning curve of YouTube, if you could give Boosie some tips? What is his learning curve to learn how to grow and do this the right way?
First, you gotta put your arrogance put it to the side a little bit. Put your arrogant big cock, put it to the side. Call and ask people who are successful in this game. Ask questions. You already know from Vlad what people want to hear from you. So he got to be, and then you got to be careful what lane you build, because people got to realize that when you start a YouTube or podcast, however you set the tone, that's the following you're going to create. So when you try to bring somebody, they're going to be like, well, hold on. Because like me and Real 2 had a discussion, we had a debate about this. I was like, man, I'm tired of just doing regular reaction. I need to interview. He said, man, you need to interview home stuff. I said, I ain't put a video on my channel. He said, they're going to come. You just got to force it. It's going to come. Keep dropping on, keep dropping. You're going to build a fan base for it. So that's when I started doing females to try to get a female fan base in. But for the most part, my channel like gossip and mess and bullcrap. You try to come on there talking that whole thing down, then I ain't gonna get no views, and then the Wi-Fi gonna get cut off.
Yeah, no, let me give you the best. You know, this is me and Gangsta talking. So we're some YouTube gurus, I guess. You know, we're in the game.
We are.
First thing you gotta do is find out like why are you doing this content? Like, is this for entertainment? Is this for knowledge? Is this just for the shits?
Right. Drinking money. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, like, if you start interviewing porn stars, you have to ask yourself, why am I interviewing porn stars? Well, yes, the people will come, but like, what's your end game?
Angle, right?
Yeah, like you have to have an angle. So,
because the porn star going to talk about certain, I'm gonna be like, I don't believe let's go in the back afterwards.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's gonna be like, all right, Gangsta gets to take them all to the back.
Right, let me test it out.
Right, and he comes back to tell you how it was.
Right.
I get to review porn stuff.
But now, I would say this though. You got so many freaky people in the world that because you got like the girl Cherokee, Pinky, you know, the people I saw when I was in prison, they have a fan base to where if you put them on your channel, they go to talk about how they like to do oral sex or how they like to be bent through or how they get hit. People are gonna come for it because you got a lot of freaky people.
Yeah,
they want to see that kind of stuff. So stop interviewing porn stars. But you got to see if your channel, like I have a young fan base. So my channel be on some certain, like, man, we want to hear that whoop-de-whoop, you know?
Yeah, they want to hear the history of
I've never been able to,
Tales of Gangsta.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I've never been able to crack the, you know, when you go in the analytics, I've never been able to crack 13 and 17-year-old bracket until I got Charles White on my channel, and now the 13 and 17-year-old come because of him.
Yeah, we didn't have any females until we got Jaguar Wright.
Yeah,
and then you tried Jaguar Wright. It didn't quite go so well.
For me.
Yeah, they weren't there for
and
me.
y'all wouldn't even must put the video on y'all. Y'all didn't want to cross revenue share.
Yeah, we like, man.
Yeah, y'all kicked me to the curb, bro.
Goddamn. You said we can't do it.
Yeah, no.
Hey, so, question, what is your most viewed video?
You ain't gonna believe this.
Please.
You're not gonna believe this, bro.
Yes.
Vlad had to tell it to me. I was ready. I'm happy I didn't bet him, though. He wanted to bet me. I was like, no, let me be picky.
Yeah, I mean, you might know a little more than me.
Man, Fleece Johnson.
Fleece Johnson, your most viewed video?
Yes.
Dang.
He got chosen by a couple of thousands.
Why do you think that is?
Because it was something new, and he was a freak. He talking about booty. He talking about he liked butt. He talking, you know, it was an interesting story. So my channel, like, what the world? You know what I'm saying? But when I double back, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen, man.
But he got the most viewed on my channel.
Fleece Johnson, yeah. You went out there to holler at him. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. Let me check again now.
Yeah, Charleston overall, man. It's like,
overall, Charleston.
Yeah, Charleston. Yeah, as far as overall views, Charleston gone crazy. But yeah, Fleece. Okay, yeah. All right, shout out Fleece Johnson.
Yeah, Lad pointed out to me. I didn't know. I always thought it was Charleston.
Yeah, so you don't even go back and look at your most watched videos.
I be wanting the money.
Yeah, you go look at you go to analytics and go straight to the money. Like,
what's going on now?
Yeah, damn the views. Damn the views.
Yeah,
what the money looking like?
Yeah, how you gonna find that? Where you go at to find
I think there's a way to go to top performance or top performing videos or something. It's somewhere. But you can see it not in YouTube Studio, but you can see it like on regular YouTube when someone go to your channel. Top video, someone can see like what is your most.
Yeah, cause that's.
Excuse me. Allow me to explain. The challenge of the champion. We have a series of knockouts, and the winner gets a crack at the big guy. All selected leaders have received their invites. Good luck.
You know what, promoter? This planet is not your playground. Duty calls, and I answer. Tony, let's give your suit a workout.
Saving the world? Sure, I got you. Battle mode initiated. Let's party.
That's crazy.
Done this.
Can't fight the future.
That is crazy.
Every blow is a strike for justice.
Fuck, let's go.
Calm down, Hulk.
Why you don't leave Hulk alone?
Damn.
You got him, big guy. Heal from this front.
Prepare yourself! Event the strike! Wakanda forever! Wakanda must stand alongside the outer world against this champion. I'm sorry, sister.
As am I, Shuri. Let's fight with everything.
You got this, Shuri.
Was ready for this!
Take it. Off you go.
Come on, big guy, get to it!
Stronger than anyone.
Lydia.
Fight together, we win together.
Now you will see true strength.
Avengers, assemble. Now the gloves come off.
Champion Buster online Friday. Let's show him something special.
Now strike! PlayStation.
Nice.
Round 2. Fight.
Tá. Aqui tem. Tá.
Round 3. Fight. Round 4. Fight.
왜 안 돼? 두 번 눌러서 그런가?
Nigdy nie ugnę się przed niesprawiedliwością.
내 점수. 100 points.
Round 1.
Folks, the main answer right at the start here. Here's the too long didn't watch. If you previously enjoyed Diablo 4, then Lord of Hatred is absolutely worth buying. This expansion makes Diablo 4 bigger and better in pretty much every way. If I could sum up this expansion in one phrase, it would be, make them happy. The devs just seem to be doing everything possible to make us as happy as possible with this update. If instead you were a Diablo 3 fan who quit Diablo 4 pretty early on, then Lord of Hatred is absolutely worth buying. The game has transformed so much into a true sequel to Diablo 3, taking the action arcade base, but expanding on it with a more robust endgame, crafting, and build depth. If instead you are looking for a slower paced, more challenging kind of game, a methodical ARPG, this is not for you. This is not trying to be that kind of game. If you are a Last Epoch fan or a Path of Exile 1 fan, then if there's any version of Diablo 4 that you would ever like, this is going to be it. Because in Lord of Hatred, you're going to be blasting maps, progressing your endgame passive trees to juice your content, all while collecting rare crafting materials and bases to slam your items for gamba crafting for awesome, crazy results. I'm not saying the game is now as complex as PoE. Of course it's not. but now at least it has the things that you're looking for. In short, if Diablo 4 had launched in this state, then the entire narrative about D4 would be different, and the D4 bad memes would have never started. Lord of Hatred is probably the biggest and best expansion that any Diablo game has ever gotten. Sure, Reaper of Souls saved Diablo 3. It had a bigger impact on that game, but it was not a bigger expansion. Lord of Destruction was the cherry on top of Diablo 2, which was an already great game, but Lord of Hatred adds so much more. In many ways, Lord of Hatred feels like an entirely new game, especially if you haven't played Diablo 4 in a while. It just completely dwarfs Vessel of Hatred in comparison. It just really feels like the devs went all in with this expansion. Almost as though they're like, this might be our last expansion, so let's throw everything we can in there. And if this is Diablo 4's last expansion, they absolutely went out with a bang. And if there are more expansions to come, then they have raised the bar, and it's going to be tough to beat this. Now, don't get me wrong, it is not perfect. And it has not brought Diablo 4 into a perfect state. But now we have a very solid base to work with. And hopefully we won't have to see any more system overhauls in the future. Hopefully now we can just work on fine-tuning this base and adding on top of it. So that's the short version. Let's get into the details now. So first off, real quick, launch day. Not the best Blizzard launch, not the worst. It definitely took a couple of hours before people could reliably play alright. But that's kind of par for the course at this point with Blizzard. That said, throughout this week, they've been really fast to hotfix things, to respond to feedback, whether it's fixing bugs, whether it's adding quality of life things. They've removed some annoying features. They've fixed something that was not working properly. They've kind of added in new features real quick. It's actually really impressive how dialed into the community complaints and feedback they've been, and reactive before we even got to the first weekend. Now let's talk about the campaign. We're going to say no spoilers until the end. I'll give you folks a fair warning. We're going to talk about the story. Story talk will be the last point we'll cover in this video. Right now I'm going to talk about the campaign more from just an experience standpoint and more from the game mechanics side of things. So the campaign was a bit of a slow start for me, but then they hit me with the first impactful moment, and they had me for the rest of the campaign. Absolutely won me over. I think the campaign is fantastic. I was very satisfied. I was not a fan of the Vessel of Hatred campaign. I was a fan of the base campaign, and Lord of Hatred absolutely brought me back. The new region, Skovos, absolutely gorgeous. We've been waiting to visit Skovos for so long. It was supposed to be in the second Diablo 3 expansion that never happened. We had concept art from back then. And man, to see that vision realized, so satisfying. And that word there, satisfying. This is gonna be my refrain. The rest of this video, you're gonna see that the devs did so much to satisfy us. Now, Skovos also is probably the best region in the game with regards to visual identity. It's so distinct, but also it has the most diversity of biomes within it. There's no one, like, it's the frozen place. There's no, like, well, it's the ugly swamp place. Within it has a diversity of biomes, where you have the lava lands, and you have the sort of more beach area. It's also designed in a way that there's depth, where you get to see these gorgeous vistas and really get a sense of scale of the world. The music across the expansion, fantastic. Just loading in fact. The new loading screen, it was just a breath of fresh air, and the loading screen music brings you in, and throughout the narrative, the music does a lot of heavy lifting and providing emotional gravitas to scenes. And it's so distinct and different from, like, typical Diablo music that it's iconic to the expansion. There's a bunch of new enemies. I thought some of them were kind of silly, like crab people and stuff. Overall, Skovos does have a sort of Titan Quest vibe to it, because it's all very much modeled off of ancient Greece, and they really lean into that with voice actors that sound Greek, and there's even allusions to Greek fire. I think they call it, Ascari fire. Ascari is the Amazon race. So I didn't love all the new enemy designs, but It's variety and it's more content. The bosses, all the new bosses were great, all the new boss fights, and they start you off right at the start. Best designed boss fights in all of Diablo 4. They've really upped their game in designing bosses with mechanics. The final fight, without spoilers, wow. I'm just playing through it and I'm like, oh my god, mechanics, we have mechanics in a boss fight. Now, some parts of the campaign could feel a little bit like filler, a little bit like it's just kind of padding out the time, but overall, the campaign is certainly one of the highlights of Lord of Hatred. We'll toss in as well the new Warlock class quest gets integrated. It introduces Warlocks really nicely into the lore of the setting, and it's not a short quest, but that's okay. Because class quests only ever need to be completed once now, it just sort of felt like a part of the story. At some point my class quest became available, so I took a trip away from Skovos to go discover my Warlock lineage. And speaking of class quests, they've apparently made the Druid class quest less,
Importance of caffeine.
Importance of caffeine.
There's a reason caffeine is so popular. It has some great effects on the body. First, that pick-me-up feeling you get from it, that's caffeine blocking adenosine in your brain, which is the hormone that causes you to feel tired. Caffeine also tells your brain to release natural stimulants like glutamine and dopamine. These help boost your mood and generate a sense of euphoria, much like cocaine. Normally, your body first burns its main source of fuel, glycogen, and then it burns fat. But caffeine disrupts this process, telling the body to burn fat earlier, preserving your glycogen stores for later. That's why your body can work harder without feeling like it is, making caffeine the most common performance-enhancing drug used in sports. If you're a little tired, studies have shown that caffeine will improve focus by enhancing reaction time and memory recall. And if you're not feeling, caffeine can fix that too. It speeds up the body's ability to absorb aspirin and acetaminophen, making them work faster and last longer. But it's not all good news. Ever realize the more coffee you drink, the more you need it? That's your body building up a tolerance. With each cup, your body produces more receptors for adenosine. So you need more caffeine to block those receptors and feel energized. You also produce more stomach acid after consuming caffeine, which can lead to heartburn. Too much caffeine, and you're likely to start feeling anxious. That anxiety comes from the adrenaline your body releases when caffeine excites the brain cells. Over time, you can even develop a caffeine addiction. And quitting cold turkey can cause withdrawal symptoms like headaches and fatigue. Caffeine also has a long shelf life in the body. It can take over 4 hours for just half the caffeine to wear off. So you might want to reconsider that afternoon cup of joe.
Did you know that caffeine is one of the world's most commonly used psychoactive substances? About 90% of adults consistently consume caffeine, usually in the forms of things like coffee and tea. So if this is so widely used and is considered a psychoactive substance, we should probably know a little bit about how caffeine works. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what caffeine does to the body, some of its pros and cons, are there safe and unsafe amounts, and can it be addictive? So if you're one of those that loves your caffeinated beverages, take a sip and we'll jump right into this. Caffeine is a bitter-tasting, naturally occurring substance found in many plants. It's part of a group of compounds called methylxanthines, and many of these methylxanthines, caffeine included, are considered stimulants of the central nervous system, or the CNS. Now keep in mind, the central nervous system in anatomy refers to what you can see here, the brain, as well as the spinal cord. Now the majority of the spinal cord's been removed that you can see right here, but it would continue down the vertebral or the spinal column. We'll definitely be taking a look at the brain tissue in more detail in regards to how caffeine works. But let's talk about caffeine. What does that actually mean to us? Well, when we partake of a stimulant such as caffeine, it might make us feel a little bit more alert, energetic, able to get stuff done. But how does caffeine really elicit these effects? To answer that, we need to go down to the cellular level. So let's actually zoom in and zoom into this brain tissue and take a look at some brain cells.
Welcome to the inner workings of your brain. On a whiteboard, with a wondrous drawing of a cell that makes up your nervous system called a neuron. Now let me point out some of the structural features of this neuron. The central portion with the blue nucleus here is referred to as the cell body. And these shorter projections coming off the cell body are known as dendrites. And mine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, why am I counting these out for you? Well, this is a bit of a simplified drawing because the neurons in your brain can actually have thousands of dendrites branching off of the cell body there. And why is that so cool? Well, that's because these dendrites are bringing signals in from the connections they're making with other neurons. So if I have thousands of dendrites, I potentially can make thousands of connections with other neurons. And when you start thinking about all those numbers, the connections in your brain become quite remarkable. And we need to move on to this other projection here, and this is called the axon, the longer projection here. And this takes signals away from the cell body. And this is where we're really going to focus our attention with our discussion on caffeine, especially where the axon starts to branch in these things called axon terminals. So let's zoom into this axon terminal, and that's what we're seeing at this upper portion of the whiteboard drawing. And the end of the axon terminal has this little bulge called the synaptic end bulb for all you anatomy geeks who can't get enough of the names we throw at you. But with caffeine, we'll be starting this discussion of how caffeine works. Caffeine is known as a potent antagonist of adenosine receptors. Or in other words, it's going to block the effects of adenosine. Now, as we talk about adenosine, keep in mind it can be found throughout the body as well as its receptors in other body tissues, and so therefore can have multiple responses throughout the body, but we're going to focus on how it affects the brain tissue. So in blue are those blue diamonds. These are representing adenosine. And the adenosine receptor is represented in this green Y-shaped structure that's embedded into the cell membrane of the neuron. Now, when adenosine binds to the neuron, I want you to kind of think of a lock and key analogy here with receptor physiology. Think of adenosine as the key and the adenosine receptor in green as the lock or the deadbolt that the key fits into. And so we all know that the key has to have a specific shape to fit into a specific shaped deadbolt in order for it to work. And that's the same kind of idea in receptor physiology in the human body, or at least the key has to be close to the same shape. And we'll talk about that a little bit more with caffeine's relationship to adenosine. But adenosine binding to that receptor causes an effect on the neuron, and specifically, it suppresses the neuron, or is known as a CNS depressant. It suppresses the firing and the activity of this neuron. And so what does that feel like to you? Well, it suppresses things like arousal, and so therefore might make you feel tired or more fatigued. Adenosine could be considered one of the many chemical mediators of sleep. And you've probably heard of adenosine before, but in a little bit of a different form. Called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP.
Everybody's playing
now, we could do a
now.
whole video just on ATP. But when it comes to ATP for this video, we're going to essentially say it is the energy currency of your cells. And as your cells are active throughout the day, they are burning through this energy currency called ATP. And so the idea is that as the neuron, because neurons are greedy little hogs for ATP, they burn through it like crazy, you're breaking it down, and the adenosine component of the ATP is thought to start to build up on the outside of the neuron. And as more and more builds up on the outside, more and more of it can bind to more receptors, and again increase that effect of feeling tired and fatigued throughout the day. And so how would you maybe get rid of this buildup of adenosine? Well, it tends to help when you go to sleep, and sleep will also help replenish your ATP stores. So what does all this adenosine talk actually have to do with caffeine? Well, if you've got that caffeinated beverage close by, go ahead and take a sip. Help calm the anticipation anxiety for the answer to this question, because I first need to talk about another substance that you could be ingesting while watching this video, and that is AG1 by Athletic Greens. AG1 is an amazing supplement that contains 75 vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and adaptogens, and is sourced from whole food ingredients. Now, I've been taking this supplement for months now, and it's one of those things that can really help simplify your health and wellness routine for 2022. Instead of taking all these different pills for vitamins and minerals, you can get that in one scoop of AG1. One of my favorite benefits of AG1 is that it can help with performance as well as recovery. I recently added long distance running to my workout routine, but I didn't want to give up things like basketball, or weight training. So any edge that I could get with performance was a definite plus, as well as any edge with recovery, because you want to recover as quickly as possible between workouts so that each individual workout can be as effective as possible. AG1 can also help boost energy levels and mental clarity. And what's interesting is we are talking about caffeine in this video, which we'll get into energy and mental clarity. And some people will actually use AG1 as a potential replacement for caffeine, and others will use AG1 in conjunction with caffeine. It can be used successfully in both scenarios. AG1 is also NSF certified, which means what's on the label will actually be found inside the product. If you're ready to get started on your amazing greens, go to athleticgreens.com/humananatomy to get started on your order, and they'll give our viewers a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, as well as 5 free travel packets. The link is in the description below. So now on to that answer of how caffeine interacts with adenosine and its receptors, and causes you to experience those stimulatory effects when you partake of caffeine. Now remember that lock and key analogy we talked about earlier. Think of caffeine as a key that can fit into a lock, but won't turn it or activate the lock. And that's essentially what happens with caffeine and adenosine receptors. It's a close enough shape that it can fit or wedge itself into the adenosine receptor.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life.
Wedge itself into the adenosine receptor and block it without activating it. And so if you have all this excess caffeine surrounding the neuron, it'll take up those adenosine receptors. Now, the amount of caffeine needed to achieve some of those previously mentioned results has quite the range, and that range can be from 30 milligrams up to 300 milligrams per day, with 400 milligrams being considered generally safe for most adults. Now, you might be thinking, why is there such a range? Why would one person maybe only need 30 milligrams and another all the way up to 300 plus milligrams per day? And we can have that conversation of individual genetics, physiology, etc. But one of the most important factors in that range is how much caffeine the person partakes of on a consistent or day-to-day basis. For example, someone like me, who doesn't partake of a lot of caffeine and might be considered caffeine naive, would notice these effects probably around that 30 milligram range, and I can attest that I do feel some of those effects if I take 30 milligrams of caffeine. If I were to take that 300 milligrams per day, I'd likely be bouncing off the wall like a child. Now, if we compare that to someone who is taking caffeine on a consistent day-to-day basis, maybe they're a moderate to heavy coffee drinker, they might need that 200 to 300 milligrams a day to get the same level of effect as someone who's more caffeine naive. And that helps us with a nice little segue for one of our first potential cons or drawbacks of caffeine. And that is, as we partake of caffeine more frequently or more consistently, our bodies will eventually build up a tolerance to the caffeine, and we would therefore need higher amounts to get the same level of effects. But what's actually happening at the physiological or cellular level when we build up a tolerance to caffeine? Well, there's this process that occurs called upregulation. And for us to understand upregulation, we need to remind ourselves about those adenosine receptors that the caffeine was blocking. Now, upregulation causes the adenosine receptors to increase in number. So we literally make more of them. And if I have a higher amount or a greater number of adenosine receptors, I'm going to require more caffeine to block that greater number of receptors to get the same level of effects that I had previously before the process of upregulation occurred. Now, when we're talking about other potential drawbacks or side effects, we have to remind ourselves that caffeine doesn't just circulate to the brain tissue. It circulates throughout the body and can therefore affect other tissues and other systems. And one of those systems would be the cardiovascular system. Caffeine can increase systolic blood pressure by as much as 10 points. So if you need a reminder on blood pressure, remember the two numbers like 120 over 80. The top number is systolic. So if you were at 120, caffeine could potentially increase it to 130. Caffeine can also affect the conduction system of the heart. And if the conduction system of the heart is firing off more frequently, which is in the case of caffeine, it can cause this cardiac muscle tissue to contract more frequently and therefore increase the heart rate. It can also cause the cardiac muscle tissue to contract more forcefully and have a little bit more of a forceful heartbeat. Caffeine can also increase the flow of blood through the kidneys. And if you take a look at this cool kidney dissection that we have here, we can look at the internal anatomy of the kidney, and the blood is going to come in through this renal artery and branch and get distributed to the outer portion of the kidney here to be filtered. Now, this outer portion of the kidney is referred to as the renal cortex. Now, caffeine can increase the amount of fluid and sodium that's filtered in this area, and therefore increasing the amount of urine produced, which will eventually make it out a different tube here called the ureter, down to the bladder and hopefully into the toilet. Now, that was a really overly long or drawn out way of just saying caffeine can increase the amount of urine output, and therefore caffeine is often labeled as a mild diuretic, just making you pee. Now, caffeine can also cause things like agitation. It can make people feel jittery and even anxious. Now, granted, that tends to be a higher risk in people who are caffeine naive or people who are taking high amounts of caffeine, but it is a potential drawback nonetheless. But with all these drawbacks we're discussing, one thing that's interesting to note is that as a person builds up the tolerance to caffeine, these side effects or drawbacks become more minimal. So somebody who's taking caffeine consistently wouldn't notice a full 10-point increase in systolic blood pressure. Again, more minimal of an increase. Also not as great of an increase in their heart rate, or a less diuretic effect that caffeine can have upon them with that buildup of tolerance. And to finalize this discussion around caffeine tolerance and these potential drawbacks or side effects of caffeine, from one perspective you might think, well, if I'm a little caffeine tolerant, those side effects tend to be more minimal. And you might think of that as an actual benefit to tolerance. But if you miss that morning caffeine hit, or go an extended period of time without caffeine, your body is likely to let you know about it. And you might even let others around you know about it because you might be feeling grouchy, tired, fatigued, foggy, and maybe even having this inability or feeling less focused. And all of these things we are trying to mitigate with caffeine use tend to come back even stronger as these caffeine withdrawal symptoms. Which brings up an interesting idea or discussion around, is caffeine addictive? Now, in a clinical setting, people often will hesitate to be like, caffeine is a strongly addictive substance. And we tend to not see people participating in harmful behaviors with caffeine use. And we definitely know that caffeine does not have that same addictive pattern or that same level of potential withdrawal symptoms as, say, like other stimulants like nicotine, amphetamines, and even cocaine. And luckily, if someone were to want to get off of caffeine, they could taper slowly and generally come off and minimize these caffeine withdrawal symptoms, and people tend to do just fine if that's the choice they want to make. And bringing this full circle, is caffeine bad? Should you use it? Should you not use it? Well, caffeine's one of those substances where it's difficult to draw a hard line in the sand. There are definitely substances out there that we could discuss where we could say, probably shouldn't take that, it's going to do more harm than good. Caffeine doesn't fall into that category. I think caffeine should be approached similar to how you might approach any substance you ingest in your body, whether it's like a food or a supplement or maybe an over-the-counter drug. You always want to weigh the pros and the cons. Could we find situations where people are maybe using caffeine a little bit too much or ineffectively or relying on it too much? Sure. But we could also find plenty of people who are using it responsibly and effectively, as well as people who don't use it at all and do just fine. Another thing that I think is important to mention is caffeine's use as a therapeutic agent in a clinical setting, as well as its potential to reduce risk of certain disorders. There are studies out there that imply that caffeine may reduce the risk of neurological disorders such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Now keep in mind, more research needs to be done on this, and caffeine would be only one factor for these things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. But it is interesting nonetheless to think that it may have a protective or potential risk-reducing benefit for some of these neurological disorders. Now, caffeine can be used to help reduce pain, specifically in regards to headaches in combination with other medications. Now, I forgot to mention that one of the actual withdrawal symptoms of caffeine can also be a headache. So headaches can be a little bit of this double-edged sword with caffeine, depending on somebody's caffeine status, but in certain situations can be used therapeutically to treat headaches. And a final interesting thought on caffeine use. Some people will use caffeine periodically or intermittently, maybe 1 or 2 times per week. And what they'll do is they'll time that caffeine use with maybe a day that they're going to need to get more things done or be more focused, maybe at work or school or whatever they're participating in. And the idea is that they won't build up that tolerance, but still be able to get the benefits on that day that they're targeting to use the caffeine. Other people will also even target.
Welcome to the Huberman Lab podcast, where we discuss science and science-based tools for everyday life. I'm Andrew Huberman, and I'm a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford School of Medicine. Today we are discussing caffeine. Caffeine is one of the most widely used substances on the planet. Estimates are that more than 90% of adults and as many as 50% of kids, that is adolescents and teenagers, use caffeine on a daily basis. Now, caffeine is an amazing molecule. Most people are familiar with caffeine's ability to increase alertness and to reduce our feelings of sleepiness and fatigue. And indeed, it does that. But what most people are not aware of is that caffeine acts as a strong reinforcer. What I mean by reinforcer is that when caffeine is present in a drink or food, and yes, indeed, caffeine is present in many foods, even unbeknownst to us, when it's present in drinks and foods, we actively come to like those foods and drinks more than if caffeine were not contained in those foods and drinks. So it reinforces our liking of particular foods and drinks, and indeed, it even reinforces our liking of the containers they are consumed from and the company we keep when we consume foods and drinks that contain caffeine. That is, caffeine is not just a stimulant, caffeine is a reinforcer, and it's a reinforcer that plays an active role in almost everybody's daily life. We can say that with confidence because, as I mentioned a moment ago, more than 90% of people are consuming caffeine, and most people think that they consume caffeine because it makes them feel more alert. But there are many reasons why you're consuming caffeine, and I'm not going to tell you that consuming caffeine is necessarily bad. In fact, today I'm going to tell you about many of the positive health benefits of caffeine, including neuroprotective effects, antidepressive effects, and certainly performance-enhancing effects, both for mental performance and for physical performance. Now, that said, there are certain situations in which you want to avoid caffeine, and there are certain people who might opt to avoid caffeine. That's especially the case when one thinks about caffeine not just as a stimulant, but as a reinforcer. In fact, caffeine is such a strong reinforcer that if even tiny amounts of caffeine are present in certain foods and drinks, you will very quickly come to prefer those foods and drinks over other choices, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on what sorts of food and drink choices you're trying to make. So today, I'm going to inform you about how caffeine works at a mechanistic level. I promise to do that with a minimum of nomenclature and such that even if you don't have a background in biology, you will be able to digest that information easily. And then I'll tell you how to use caffeine to your advantage, or conversely, how to avoid caffeine at certain times to your advantage. So today's episode will focus both on mechanisms and tools, that is the use and leverage of caffeine to improve mental health, physical health, and performance. Before we go any further into today's discussion, I want to tell you about some recent results about a molecule that's found in certain caffeinated beverages and that has been proven to be very useful for both weight loss, mental performance, and controlling blood sugar levels. And that's GLP-1, or glucagon-like peptide 1. Glucagon-like peptide 1 is found in the brain and body. It acts both on the brain and body. It does many different things, but one of its primary effects, it's been discovered, is to reduce hunger, and it does that two ways. It does that by activating certain neurons in your hypothalamus, so that's a brain region that controls hunger and satiety. It makes us feel full at the level of the brain, so it makes us feel sated, that is, and it actually makes us feel full. Turns out that GLP-1 acts on certain receptors in the gut to make us feel as if we've ingested enough food. It doesn't necessarily make us feel as if our gut is distended, but it makes us feel full. That's really interesting because if you think about it, when we eat, our stomach fills up, obviously, and that information has to be communicated to the brain such that the brain can then send satiety signals that actually shut off our hunger. And believe it or not, the brain actually activates signals to reduce the desire to chew when our stomach is full. And GLP-1, as I mentioned, works on the brain to create these feelings of satiety, as if we've had enough, and to reduce our desire to eat more. And GLP-1 acts directly on the gut to give us a slight sense of fullness in the gut, which then is communicated to the brain. So really there are two parallel signals being sent when we have GLP-1 present in our system. Now, a little bit of relevant history on GLP-1. It was actually discovered in Gila monsters. These are these reptiles that can go long periods of time without eating, and a very clever scientist decided to study why it is that certain animals like Gila monsters can go a long period of time without ingesting anything. And it's because they produce very large amounts of GLP-1. They isolate the peptide from GLP-1, then they looked for the analogous peptide in humans, and it turns out that does exist, and as I mentioned, it's released in both brain and body to make you feel full and sated. Now, Why am I telling you all this? Well, today we're going to talk about caffeine, and there's one particular caffeine source, which is yerba mate, and there's some other forms of teas, similar to yerba mate, that stimulate the release of GLP-1 significantly. There are also nowadays drugs which are called analogs of GLP-1, so these are drugs that mimic or are identical to the kind of GLP-1 that you would make, and those drugs are proving to be very effective for the treatment of certain forms of diabetes and for the treatment of obesity. But they trigger enormous amounts of GLP-1 pathway activation, so those are extreme cases for people that are really struggling for weight loss. But the clinical trials and the data that are out there in the general...
Medical uses for caffeine.
Caffeine, provided it's consumed in the appropriate dosages, can improve mental performance and physical performance, and it largely does that through improvements in focus and concentration. And the range is basically from 100 milligrams to 400 milligrams. But most people do quite well to ingest 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine prior to doing some focused work. The caffeine in yerba mate and coffee and other sources of caffeine are known to increase the density and efficacy, that is, the number and the function of dopamine receptors. So by ingesting caffeine pretty regularly, you're actually increasing the ability of dopamine to have this effect of increasing motivation and drive. Caffeine increases alertness by increasing epinephrine, adrenaline release, both in the brain and within the body. And so that's another way that it facilitates focus and concentration. Caffeine, provided it's consumed in the...
There obviously can be side effects to caffeine, and how much to take depends on the person. Somebody who's caffeine naive, or in other words, doesn't normally ingest much caffeine, may not need as much to get these performance effects, because people develop a tolerance to caffeine, and if you're somebody... Caffeine pills are more efficient. A lot of times I'll take pre-workout anytime I want more energy. However, sometimes I'm on the go, in which case I'll just take some caffeine pills. And if anytime I get a dip in energy, I just reach into the bag, boom, pop a caffeine, and I'm back on it, top speed. This is not advice, what I'm about to say, but I take 900 milligrams of caffeine every day. I've been doing this shit since I was 16, and I'm 40 years old now. You shouldn't do it because you're probably not as tough as me. But if you want more energy, caffeine is a really simple and effective way to get a nice boost. Caffeine.
Finland coffee use.
핀란드 커피 유지.
Finland's oddest coffee habits are way weirder than you think. This summer I teamed up with Oddly Good, who make plant-based delights, to find Finland's oddest coffee habits, and these are the results.
This news article says that Finland drinks most coffee in the world. That's just ridiculous. I only have one coffee today. Maybe I have another one now.
Coffee, huh? Coffee machine. Let's see what they got. Coffee machine. Coffee machine. Coffee machine. 30만 원. 아이고.
Finland, the land of lakes, saunas, and a crazy amount of coffee. Finns drink more coffee than anyone else on the planet. But why? To find out, I landed in Helsinki and hopped from cafe to cafe, chatted with the locals, and basically marinated myself in coffee and stories to figure out what's going on. From snug little cottages to cafes with windows so big you feel like you're in a snow globe. Helsinki's cafe scene is full of surprises. But one thing is for sure, coffee is just the beginning. Let's dive into this wonderfully weird and eccentric Finnish caffeine scene together. My quest of understanding coffee culture around the world takes us next to a Nordic country with the highest consumption of coffee per capita in the world. I spent months living in Helsinki in 2024 and returned this year in the middle of the winter to find the answer to why do the Finns drink so much coffee. Your average Finn consumes a whopping 12 kilograms of coffee each year.
12
On a
kilograms
daily basis,
a
that's
year.
about 4 cups of coffee.
12 kilograms a year.
Exhausted searching
1
for the
kilogram
answers
a
among
month.
not so talkative Finns, I stopped for lunch at the Central Library.
1 kilogram a month.
Audi means odd in English, and so it felt right to start a Finnish series singing an ode to coffee at Audi by having a cup of coffee or two. Audi was built for the centenary celebration of Finland's independence in 2017. It's a beautiful building. It is often regarded as the city's living room. I can attest, we spent many weekends there. It's modern, it's beautiful, it's energy efficient, just like the country. And it's a big living room. It spans 3 floors. You can find anything here, from cinema to recording studios, 3D printing machines, game rooms, cafes, a huge area for children, and yes, books too. But speaking of cafes, I stopped for lunch first at the first floor cafe. Lunch here is a buffet style, and the pricing includes coffee or tea with free refills. So Finnish. Every lunch menu comes with coffee. It is usually filled with coffee that you can pour yourself and refill if needed. Most of the places would have one, sometimes two choices. Like a choice between light and dark roast. After a refreshing lunch, I headed to the top floor to find a little nook to read a book and draw. Of course, this floor had a cafe too. More of a coffee shop with coffee, tea, and snacks. I treated myself to a cappuccino and indulged by flipping through a mermaid book until I found the scene I thought would be found. And just like that, my coffee cup tally for the day was 3 cups already. One in the morning, one with lunch, and one at lunch. I was well on my way, reaching the average 4 cups a day. While I felt delightfully refreshed, I was still no close to learning why the Finns drink so much coffee. My best guess at this point was that the free-flowing coffee at lunch certainly helps increase the consumption. And if you have such a wonderful library or living room available to you for free, why not enjoy it with a cup of coffee in hand? With the realization that answering this question will take some time, I set out to visit some of the most iconic cafes in Helsinki next. I invite you to join me on that journey in the next episode. Finns drink more coffee than anyone else in the world.
좀 쉬자.
I know better tricks to expect. Today I'm uncovering what makes Finnish coffee unique with Marku from Finland. We'll talk about why filter coffee reigns supreme, the surprising way Finns enjoy their coffee, and stick around because by the end of this episode, Marku will be kind enough to teach us how to order coffee like a true Finn.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. So my name is Varpo, and I'm the founder of Her Finland, and that is I'm everywhere on every social platform that you can think of with my brand, and I teach people get to know Finland wherever they are in the world. So my popular topics are food culture, Finnish language, and the quirky habits that we Finns have in Finland, and traveling, of course, because Finland is a beautiful country and everybody should visit it.
Absolutely. I visited Finland. I was last year, I went there in August, and I was surprised how beautiful it is. And I don't think it's like at the top of the travel itineraries for everyone. But it really should be. And I grew up in Europe, and I thought like, okay, yeah, Finland is, I know about the country of 1,000 lakes and forests. But when you're there, you really start appreciating how special it is in terms of its culture and the natural beauty and everything else. So definitely everybody should visit Finland. And when they do, they should learn Finnish from you so they can start appreciating the culture even more. No worries. We met because I took part in what is called the 90-day Fin program. This is where one of the organizations in Finland, in Helsinki, called Helsinki Partners, invite a number of people to come to Helsinki and Finland to get a taste of what it would be like
like to live and work in the country. And so I actually spent 4 months in there, and I had a wonderful experience. And this is how we met with Varpo. She came to Helsinki Partners office, and she gave us I would say, very non-traditional language lesson that worked really well.
Thank you so much. It was such a great class, having you and everybody in the group joining. And I would have to say that unorthodox way of teaching is my jam, because I like to take cultural insights into a learning language and learning it through practice and learning it through mythology and all the fun things. Because for me, and how I like to teach it, language is just a tool. And the biggest point is connecting with other people.
Yeah, and to this day I remember that bear is karhu, because you made us pick like an animal and learn about it and why it's important to Finland. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yes, the national animal of Finland.
How to approach me before I've had my coffee. Step 1. Don't. How to approach me before I've had my coffee.
Hey, I just made some coffee. Do you want some? Oh, no thanks, man. I'm good. What? No thank you. Try again. Oh, hey, Kiitos. Don't do that. What? It's like 6 p.m. It's way too late for coffee. Who is she? What? So what? All of a sudden, my coffee's not good enough for you? Look, I'm sure your coffee's great. I just don't want any, okay? I'm gonna... Actually, have a tea if you have one. You mother... Hey, I just made some coffee. Do you want some? Oh, no thanks, man. I'm good. What? No thank you. Try again. Oh, hey, Kiitos. Don't do that. What? It's like 6 p.m. It's way too late for coffee. Who is she? What? So what? All of a sudden, my coffee's not good enough for you? Look, I'm sure your coffee's great. I just don't want any, okay? I'm gonna... Actually, have a tea if you have one. You mother... Hey, I just made some coffee. Do you want some? Oh, no thanks, man. I'm good. Hey, I just made some coffee.
Do you want to know what the Finns consume more of than any other country in the world? I'm going to show you. So here it is. The Finns consume more coffee per person than any other country in the world. It's really hot in my hand. Yikes.
Coffee. Oh boy. Homeowners really. It's been a month. It's been a month. Okay. What country drinks the most coffee and how much? Kilos. How well is Finland off?
It's all right. It's okay, we won. So, here I am in Helsinki in a...
What does happiness really look like when you live in the happiest country in the world?
Finland.
I spent 30 days living in...
Coffee. How many ounces are in the cups of coffee that Finland people drink? How much caffeine is in one cup? Is caffeine used medicinally? Underdeveloped lungs, eh? How much tolerance would build up in high doses? How much coffee does Finland drink?
How much coffee does it?
In Finland, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a lifestyle. With freezing winters and endless dark days, Finns rely on their favorite hot beverage to stay warm and social. On average, each person drinks around 12 kilograms of coffee per year. That's twice as much as Americans. Could you survive the Finnish winter without a cup of coffee in your hand?
Maybe it's the warm
Tell us in the
water.
comments how many cups.
Why drink warm water?
Why drink warm water?
that video for 1 minute regarding drinking hot or warm water first thing in the morning. Now, we all know the benefits of drinking water. Obviously, it can help with nasal congestion, so that's blocking up of the nose, avoiding things like taking antihistamines and nasal sprays. We also know about the fact it can help with aiding digestion and therefore reduce constipation. Improving skin, flushing out kidneys, these are things we hear all the time. But the interesting thing is, over the last few years, I've started to adapt drinking that water with other products. So I normally start my day with hot water, but also adding a slice of lemon in, a tiny bit of turmeric powder, as well as a tiny bit of manuka honey. Now, all three of these products we'll be talking about in various videos. But what I've found is starting my morning can actually be very good and a calming effect when I start my day. And you will find, actually, if you don't take that water after taking it for a long period of time, it can actually feel like it's a disruption in the day, and almost like a meditation or a routine. Having it first thing in the morning can be really beneficial. Salut.
Hazy.
Me for a while, you probably have heard me say, drink more hot water first thing in the morning and before you go to bed. And you might be wondering, what is the perfect temperature of hot
Lag,
water?
bruh.
So here are my answers. First, there's no such thing as perfect temperature of hot water. Why? Because every body is different. Yes, depending on the place you live, the weather, the food you eat, and also the season. And that is so important because when you start with the idea of, oh, I have to have hot water at this temperature, you really limit yourself. You cannot really have hot water at the restaurant because it's probably not the perfect temperature. Or maybe you cannot have hot water at your friend's place because you have to have perfect temperature of water. So the second, listen to your body. Your body knows more than your brain thinks. When you
What the hell, lag, bro?
water, your body says, give me more, because it tastes so good. Hot water tastes so good. I have had many facial practitioners told me that
Not
they
playing
even
against this guy.
replaced the good coffee with hot water because hot water tastes so good to them. So listen to your body. Your body will tell you. For me, I drink hot water in the morning and evening very close to the tea or coffee temperature. So it's very nice, hot. And then during the daytime, I carry hot water in my water bottle. So usually it's lower than the tea or coffee temperature because even though it's insulated, it reduces that temperature little by little. So it's lower than definitely the tea temperature. But it's easy to drink. And 3, do not drink hot water too hot so that you start hurting your throat. You don't want to cook your throat.
I'm going to tell you why everyone in China drinks hot water, and so should you. In traditional Chinese medicine, your stomach and digestion are like a small fire. That fire needs gentle warmth to break down food and turn it into energy your body can actually use. But when you drink something cold, it's like pouring ice water over that flame. It shocks your system and weakens digestion instantly. That's why after cold drinks, a lot of people feel bloated, sluggish, or even tired without realizing why. In China, people drink hot or really warm water all day long. It keeps that digestive fire burning steadily, helps the body absorb nutrients better, and supports smooth circulation. You'll even see people bringing thermos bottles everywhere, sipping water first thing in the morning, after meals, and before bed. It's not just a habit, it's a way to protect the body's warmth and keep the energy flowing freely. So while ice water might feel refreshing for a few seconds, in China it's seen as something that slowly drains your energy over time. I'm going to tell you why everyone in China drinks.
Kazuya again.
Round 1. Fight.
Boom.
Round 2. Fight.
Vacation time.
Round 3. Fight.
Ah, that. Ah, shit.
Round 4. Fight.
Everyone's playing Kazuya.
Round 1. Fight.
Nice combo. Oh, he's good. He has more points than me. Ah,
Round 2. Fight.
Shiva. Nice combos. Very nice.
Round 3. Fight.
좋았어. Crazy combos, bro.
Round 1. Fight.
Nice. Damn, I gotta practice wall carry. Fuck. Damn, man.
Round 2. Fight. Round 3. Fight.
Nice. Choked. I suck.
Round 4. Fight.
I gotta win.
Final round. Fight.
Okay.
what it was. For me, it looked like calling out for help.
Great.
And reaching out to people who were anointed and gifted to be able to understand.
Law. Oh, law. La 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 la. La 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 la. 바보.
Get ready for the next battle.
What happens if you drink hot water every morning as soon as you wake up? Well, it does help to stimulate the bowels for a healthy bowel movement. And having that healthy poop, according to our circadian clock mechanisms, a good solid bowel movement first thing in the morning after waking is the ideal time for elimination. Now, this coincides with the traditional Chinese medicine body clock and organ clock as well. And this is when our large intestine and stomach meridians are the most active for that healthy poop. Follow for more natural health tips. What happens if you drink hot water?
YogaMethod.com. So many people have asked me why I
따뜻한 물 마시기 효능.
따뜻한 물 마시기 효능.
따뜻한 물은 가장 강력한 음료다.
Really?
따뜻한 물이란 마시고 나면 몸이 가벼워지고 목이 시원해지고 배가 편안해지는 것을 느낄 수 있는 물이다. 따뜻한 물은 자율신경과 호르몬의 균형뿐 아니라 몸의 각 기능의 균형을 맞춰주는 기적의 음료이다. 안녕하세요. 나의 소리책 갈피 소리네어 덕다입니다. 오늘은 돈 한 푼 들이지 않고 너무나 쉽게 건강을 챙길 수 있는 방법을 알려주는 책을 소개합니다. 따뜻한 물의 강력한 효과에 대해 이야기하는 책입니다. 의학 박사이자 대체의학 전문의인 하스무라 마코토의 하루 석잔 따뜻한 물 건강법입니다. 저자는 따뜻한 물을 마시는 것이 면역력을 높이는 가장 쉽고 강력한 건강법이라고 주장하는데요. 찬물보다는 우리 몸의 체온과 비슷한 따뜻한 물을 마시는 게 좋다는 건 많이들 들어보셨을 거예요. 저도 아침에 일어나면 뜨거운 물과 찬물을 섞어 따뜻한 물로 만들어 마시고 있는데요. 아직 잠이 완전히 깨지 않은 멍한 상태에서 따뜻한 물을 조금씩 마시면 머리도 맑아지고 몸도 깨어나는 그런 기분이 들더라고요.
책에서는 따뜻한 물이 몸속으로 흡수되면
또.
약해진 위장 기능을 회복시켜 소화력을 높인다고 합니다. 그 결과 몸속에 쌓여있던 불필요한 노폐물이 연소되면서 몸이 전체적으로 본래의 기능을 되찾게 된다고 하는데요. 고대 인도의 전통의학인 아유르베다에서는 인간을 포함한 모든 생물은 바람, 불, 물 이렇게 세 가지 기질을 갖고 있다고 보고 있습니다. 따뜻한 물이 바로 이 세 가지 기질이 완벽하게 조화를 이룬 음료라고 합니다. 물은 기본적으로 찬성질을 갖고 있는데 물을 끓이면 열이 더해지고 또 충분히 끓여서 가벼워지면 움직임의 기질, 즉 바람의 기질이 강해지기 때문인데요. 그래서 아유르베다에서는 따뜻한 물이 우리 몸의 어느 특정한 부위가 아닌 몸 전체의 조정 능력을 향상시킨다고 보고 있습니다. 이 책은 따뜻한 물의 효능을 이처럼 단순하게 바라보지 않고 신체의 건강은 물론 정신적인 측면까지도 건강하게 만든다고 이야기하고 있습니다. 그럼 지금부터 따뜻한 물의 효능과 따뜻한 물을 마시는 방법에 대해 자세히 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 하루 석잔 따뜻한 물 건강법 내용의 일부를 읽어드립니다. 귀 기울여 들어보세요. 따뜻한 물이란 맛과 무게가 다르다. 따뜻한 물은 가장 강력한 물이다. 그런데 끓여서 단지 온도만 높아진 따뜻한 물이 아닌가 하고 반문하는 사람이 있을지 모르겠다. 그러나 제대로 끓인 따뜻한 물은 어중간하게 온도만 높아진 따뜻한 물과는 전혀 다르다. 수치화할 수 있는 성분은 모두 같지만 무엇보다 맛이 다르다. 평소에 물을 많이 마시는 사람이라면 쉽게 이해할 수 있는 사실이다. 그리고 여기서 말하는 따뜻한 물이란 마시고 나면 몸이 가벼워지고 몸이 시원해지고 배가 편안해지는 것을 느낄 수 있는 물이다. 그에 비해 제대로 끓이지 않은 약 50도 정도 되는 따뜻한 물은 많이 마시면 답답한 느낌을 갖게 된다. 어떤 차이가 있을까? 바로 물의 가벼움과 무거움에서 오는 차이가 있다. 그냥 온도가 높아 따뜻하기만 한 물은 무겁기 때문에 몸에 쌓이는 느낌을 주지만 제대로 끓인 따뜻한 물은 상당히 가볍다. 이 물의 무게에서 오는 차이는 몸에 아주 다르게 작용한다. 따뜻한 물이 지닌 중요한 효능의 하나는 이 가벼움에서 온다. 따뜻한 물은 몸속으로 흡수됐을 때 약해진 위장 기능을 회복시켜 소화력을 향상시킨다. 그 결과 몸속에 쌓여있던 불필요한 노폐물이 연소되어 몸이 전체적으로 본래의 기능을 되찾게 된다. 또한 따뜻한 물의 가벼움은 몸에만 기능하는 것이 아니다. 이미 마시고 있는 사람들은 느끼고 있겠지만 따뜻한 물을 지속적으로 마시면 몸은 물론 마음도 가벼워져 기분이 상쾌해진다. 몸 상태가 가벼워지면 우리는 최상의 쾌적함을 느끼게 된다. 따뜻한 물의 가벼움이 기분을 좋게 만들기 때문이다. 따뜻한 물 마시기는 이렇듯 기분을 상쾌하게 만들 뿐 아니라 심신의 모든 기능을 향상시켜 주므로 반드시 권하고 싶다. 따뜻한 물을 마셨을 때 몸과 마음이 가벼워진다는 점이 과학적인 근거가 있는 것인지 의심하는 사람이 있을 것이다. 하지만 제대로 끓인 물은 실생활에서 변비를 개선시키고 몸을 따뜻하게 만드는 면에서 확연한 차이를 보인다. 필자는 병원에서 환자를 치료하는 과정을 통해 따뜻한 물을 지속적으로 마신 사람에게서 변비, 수면장애, 냉증, 불안증, 우울증과 같은 다양한 증상이 개선되는 것을 수백 번이나 보아했다. 이와 같은 결과가 생긴다는 것은 구체적인 작용이 있음을 의미한다. 한편 이런 현상은 눈에 보이지 않는 것도 있고 현대 과학으로는 설명하기 힘든 것일 수도 있다. 하지만 따뜻한 물이 우리의 몸과 마음에 안겨주는 효과는 이미 많은 사람들의 체험을 통해 실증된 사실임을 밝혀둔다. 냉증은 만병의 근원. 따뜻한 물 마시기는 몸이 쉽게 차가워지는 특성을 지닌 현대인의 체질에 매우 적합한 응용법이다. 찬 음식을 즐기며 과식을 하는 현대인의 체질은 위장을 약하게 만드는데 위장이 약해지면 우리 몸은 필연적으로 차가워지기 마련이다. 이런 현상에 대해서는 곧 설명할 터인데 따뜻한 물을 마시면 누구든 손쉽게 위장을 따뜻하게 만들 수 있다. 특히 여성은 남성과 비교할 때 위장이 쉽게 차가워지는 편이라 따뜻한 물을 마시면 더욱 큰 효과를 볼 수 있다. 위장이 따뜻해지면 온몸의 기능이 활성화된다. 그렇게 되면 신진대사도 면역력도 높아지고 몸속의 노폐물도 연소되므로 몸 자체가 한결 가벼워진다. 그래서 따뜻한 물 마시기를 시작해 한두 달이 지나면 2-3kg의 체중 감소를 경험할 수 있다. 일반적으로 평혈이 36도 미만의 저체온일 경우 냉한 체질로 분류된다. 그런데 현대인은 대개 위장이 좋지 못한 데다 반복적으로 이어지는 불규칙한 식생활로 인해 저체온을 가진 사람들이 증가하고 있는 추세이다. 체온은 면역력과도 관계가 있는데 일설에 의하면 체온이 1도 떨어질 때 면역력은 수십 %가 떨어진다고 한다. 따라서 항상 몸이 따뜻하면 면역력이 자연적으로 상승해 병에 잘 걸리지 않게 된다.
아, 내일
몸이 항상
추우려나?
찬 사람은 다양한 질병에 노출될 가능성이 많다고 할 수 있다. 몸을 정화한다. 따뜻한 물만이 몸속을 정화한다. 따뜻한 물 대신에 따뜻한 차를 마시면 어떨까요? 차를 마시는 것은 효과가 없나요? 라는 질문을 받는 경우가 있다. 물론 위장을 따뜻하게 만든다는 의미에서 차를 마시는 것도 효과는 있다. 단 차 속에는 특유의 성분이 함유되어 있어 위장의 정화 효과는 기대하기 어렵다. 차로 손을 씻는 사람이 없듯 위장을 깨끗이 청소하는 데는 따뜻한 물이 훨씬 좋다. 더욱이 따뜻한 물 속에는 정화 기능만 있는 것이 아니다. 또 하나 주목하고 싶은 따뜻한 물이 가진 큰 효과 중 하나는 몸의 모든 기능을 균형 있게 맞춰준다는 것이다. 따뜻한 물은 자율신경과 호르몬의 균형뿐 아니라 몸의 각 기능의 균형을 맞춰주는 음료이다. 인간을 포함한 모든 생물은 항상성, 즉 생체의 내부나 외부 환경 인자의 변화에도 불구하고 몸을 일정한 상태로 유지시켜주는 성질을 갖고 있다. 이렇게 말하면 좀 어려워 보이지만 우리는 일상생활에서 이 성질을 직접 체험하고 있다. 예를 들면 식사 후에는 혈당이 올라가지만 췌장이 인슐린을 분비해 저절로 조절하는 것 등이 그것이다. 우리의 몸이 의지와 상관없이 이상적인 상태로 되돌아가려고 하는 자율 조절 능력, 즉 자연 치유력을 갖고 있기 때문이다. 이 자율 조절 프로그램은 생명 유지에 반드시 필요한 것이며 우리가 살아있는 동안에는 당연한 것으로 느끼겠지만 생명과학적인 측면에서도 아직 그 실체를 하지 못하고 있는 매우 신비로운 과정이다. 단 분명한 것은 따뜻한 물이 이 자율 조절 능력 향상에 효과를 발휘한다는 점이다. 물론 차도 좋은 성분을 함유하고 있어 교감신경의 활동을 향상시키는 등의 효능을 발휘하지만 이외의 효능은 없다. 그러나 따뜻한 물의 효능은 제한적이지 않다. 고대 인도의 전통의학인 아유르베다에서는 인간을 포함한 자연계의 모든 생물은 다음 세 가지 기질을 갖고 있다고 본다. 바타라고 하는 바람의 기질, 피타라고 하는 불의 기질, 그리고 카파라고 하는 물의 기질이다. 바람의 기질은 움직임을 낳고 불은 열을 낳으며 물은 자양분과 안정을 가져오는데 우리의 생명활동은 이 세 기질이 가진 활력이 조화를 이루어야 한다. 그런데 따뜻한 물이 바로 이 세 가지 기질이 완벽하게 조화를 이룬 음료이다. 기본적으로 물은 무겁고 찬성질을 갖고 있지만 끓이면 열의 기질이 덧붙여지고 또한 충분히 끓여서 가벼워지면 움직임의 기질이 한층 강해진다. 따라서 제대로 끓인 따뜻한 물은 물, 불, 바람 이 세 기질의 균형을 이루게 해주는 우리 몸에 매우 적합한 음료로서 기능하게 된다. 생명은 인체의 모든 것이다. 나라는 존재물이란 뇌나 심장과 같은 각각의 장기를 나타내는 것도 아니며 마음이나 감정을 나타내는 것도 아니다. 나라는 존재물은 60조 개에 달하는 세포의 집합체인 것이다. 그런데 따뜻한 물은 우리 몸의 어느 특정한 부위뿐 아니라 생명활동과 관련한 모든 조정 능력을 향상시키며 균형을 맞춰준다. 즉 우리의 생명이 본래부터 갖고 있는 전체성을 되찾아주는 놀라운 효능을 발휘한다고 해도 과언이 아니다. 독소를 배출한다. 질병이란 우리 몸속에서 독소를 정화하는 능력이 매일 들어오는 불순물을 처리하지 못해 생기는 것이다. 그런데 따뜻한 물이 그 역할을 해준다. 우리 몸의 정화력을 향상시켜주는 것이다. 따뜻한 물을 마시면 위장 속에 있는 독소나 노폐물이 배출되어 깨끗해진다. 그리고 위장의 정화력이 향상되면 몸은 전체적으로 본래의 기능을 되찾아간다. 그러다 보면 당연히 몸의 정화력도 한층 향상되어 매우 순수한 상태가 된다. 한편 따뜻한 물을 계속해서 마시다 보면 간혹 발생하는 일이 있다. 몸에 맞지 않는 음식을 섭취했을 때 설사를 하는 경우가 바로 그것이다. 이런 증상을 접했을 때 우리는 혹시 위장 기능이 떨어졌기 때문이 아닐까 생각하게 되는데 이것은 몸이 정화되는 과정에서 발생하는 일시적인 현상으로 이해하면 된다. 이것은 불순한 것에 대한 몸의 거부 반응이고 몸이 독소를 쌓아놓을 수 없게 되었다는 증거이다. 곧 몸이 순수한 상태를 유지하고 있다는 확실한 반증이 된다. 이런 반응은 음식물과 관련해서만 발생하는 현상이 아니다. 따뜻한 물을 지속적으로 마시면 음식물에 대한 기호가 바뀔 뿐만 아니라 인간관계까지도 변화한다. 지금까지 별로 마음에 들지 않는데도 불구하고 적당히 유지해온 인간관계가 있다면 완전히 정리하고 자신과 어울리는 새로운 사람을 만나게 될 수도 있다. 또한 몸과 마음이 모두 순수함을 유지하기 위해 활동하므로 자신의 주변과 타인에게 생기는 일에 연연하지 않게 된다. 즉 자신이 인생의 주체가 된다. 우리는 일상생활을 하면서 무의식적으로 긴장하거나 스스로에게 무리한 행동을 요구하기도 한다. 그러나 이런 행위 역시 몸에 스트레스를 주므로 질병을 유발하는 원인이 된다. 그런데 따뜻한 물을 지속적으로 마시면 소화기능은 물론 체온과 호르몬의 조절, 신진대사, 자율신경의 조절, 마음의 안정에 이르기까지 모든 기능이 조화를 이루게 된다. 그 때문에 무리하게 참고 긴장하고 자신을 억압하는 일이 줄어든다. 질병과 거리가 먼 건강한 몸이 되며 자신을 무리하게 자제하는 일도 사라지게 된다. 자연 치유력을 높인다. 누구에게나 효과가 있다. 따뜻한 물이 누구에게나 효과가 있다는 것은 예외가 없는 사실인데 그럴 만한 이유가 있다. 인간은 누구나 자연 지성을 갖고 태어난다. 자연 지성이란 무엇일까? 한 개의 수정란은 어머니의 몸속에서 세포 분열을 반복해 갓난아기로 태어날 때까지 60조 개의 세포로 분열한다. 그리고 그 과정 속에서 손, 발, 신경조직, 뼈, 피부, 내장과 같은 인체의 모든 장기를 형성하게 되는데 이 과정은 매우 자연스러운 현상이며 자동적으로 이루어진다. 누군가의 과학적인 처치로 만드는 것이 아니라 누구나 자동적으로 그렇게
장갑 안 껴도
만들어진다.
되겠네.
이것은 의식이나 사고의 수준을 초월하는 것으로 즉 측정이 불가능한 완벽함을 가진 조화로운 지성이다. 아유르베다에서는 이것을 자연지성이라고 한다. 따뜻한 물을 마셔서 자연지성의 기능을 저해하는 독소가 배출되어 스트레스가 해소되면 선천적으로 타고나는 자연지성이 활성화된다. 따라서 따뜻한 물은 모든 사람에게 효과가 있다. 자연치유력은 자연지성이 가진 능력의 하나이다. 몸에 생긴 상처가 나으려면 우리 몸은 수백 수천 개에 달하는 프로세스가 작동하는데 이 일련의 과정을 자연치유력의 발현이라고 한다. 백혈구가 외부의 침입자와 싸우기도 하고 새로운 모세혈관과 피부가 형성될 때 자연스럽게 진행되는 이 프로세스는 모두 자연지성의 행위다. 따라서 자연지성이 활성화되면 자연치유력은 저절로 향상되어 질병에 잘 걸리지 않게 된다. 따뜻한 물, 만드는 법, 마시는 법. 따뜻한 물은 몸과 마음을 건강하게 만드는 매우 소중한 음료인데 만드는 법과 마시는 법이 어렵지 않다. 순수한 물을 골라 제대로 끓이기만 하면 된다. 따뜻한 물의 효과를 가장 잘 즐길 수 있는 물은 무엇보다 순수한 물이다. 즉 자연에 가까운 물이 좋다. 완전한 물은 부패하지 않는다. 정수기 물이나 수돗물도 충분한 효과를 기대할 수 있고 우물물이나 샘물도 괜찮다. 제대로 끓이기만 하면 된다. 따뜻한 물 만드는 법. 1. 주전자에 깨끗한 물을 담고 뚜껑을 닫은 뒤 강한 불에 끓인다. 2. 물이 끓으면 수증기가 날아가도록 뚜껑을 열고 계속 끓이되 불을 약하게 조절한다. 3. 그 상태에서 10분에서 15분간 더 끓인다. 4. 마실 수 있을 정도의 따뜻한 물을 홀짝홀짝 마신다. 홀짝홀짝 마시는 것이 요령. 막 끓여낸 물을 따뜻한 상태로 해서 홀짝홀짝 마신다. 시원한 맥주처럼 벌컥벌컥 마시지 말고 조금씩 홀짝홀짝 마시는 것이 효과적이다. 이렇게 마셔야 위장에 부담이 적다. 뜨거운 것을 후후 불어 조금씩 식혀가면서 마신다고 생각하면 된다. 아침에 끓인 물은 보온병에 담아 보관하면서 그날 모두 마신다면 문제가 없다. 다시 말하지만 따뜻한 물이란 완전히 식지 않은 따뜻한 상태의 물을 말한다. 그렇다고 마시기 힘들 정도로 뜨거울 필요는 없으므로 물의 온도는 몸 상태에 맞춰 조절한다. 아침 일찍 마신다. 아침에 눈을 뜨면 먼저 한 컵의 물을 5분에서 10분에 걸쳐 천천히 마신다. 이렇게 하면 위장이 따뜻해지면서 대사가 전체적으로 활발해지며 우리 몸은 하루의 활동을 준비하게 된다. 또한 몸속에 노폐물을 배출시켜 장속을 깨끗이 하므로 배설을 촉진하는 효과도 있다. 식사할 때도 한 컵씩 마신다. 아침, 점심, 저녁 식사 때마다 밥을 먹으면서 따뜻한 물을 한 컵 마신다. 밥을 몇 숟가락 떠서 먹은 뒤 따뜻한 물을 한 모금씩 반복적으로 마시면 효과가 커진다. 이렇게 하면 소화력이 향상되어 음식물이 잘 소화된다. 식간에도 마시면 효과가 크다. 끼니와 끼니 사이 식간에 20분에서 30분 간격으로 한 모금 한 모금 조금씩 마신다. 위장이 따뜻해져 소화력이 향상되기 때문에 몸속에 남아있는 음식 찌꺼기가 쉽게 소화된다. 과할 정도로 많이 마시지 않는다. 하루 마시는 따뜻한 물의 양은 대여섯 컵 정도, 700에서 800cc가 적당하다. 더 이상 마시면 몸속의 피로 성분까지 빠져나가 오히려 위장에 부담을 주게 된다. 지나치게 마시지 않도록 각별한 주의를 기울이자. 따뜻한 물 더 잘 마시는 법. 아침에 마시는 따뜻한 물 한 잔. 아침에 일찍 마시는 따뜻한 물은 누구에게나 효과가 있다. 독소가 가장 많이 체외로 배출되는 시간대가 아침이기 때문이다. 이 시간대에 마시면 따뜻한 물의 정화 능력이 한층 높아진다. 문자 그대로
아이고.
따뜻한 물이 몸속에 쌓인 음식 찌꺼기를 녹여 몸 밖으로 배출시킨다. 또한 아침에 일어나면 몸이 차가운 상태이기 때문에 따뜻한 물을 마셔서 온몸이 따뜻해지면 대사가 잘 이루어져 몸의 각 기능이 활발히 움직이기 시작한다. 또한 위장의 소화력도 자연적으로 좋아져 하루 종일 건강하게 지낼 수 있다. 몸이 찬 사람은 특히 아침이 중요. 몸이 쉽게 차가워지는 사람은 한기가 느껴지지 않아도 의식적으로라도 따뜻하게 관리할 필요가 있다. 몸이 차가워지면 몸 상태도 나빠지지만 마음도 불안해져 머릿속이 불필요한 걱정거리로 가득 차 전체적으로 정신적인 혼란에 빠진다. 아침에 일찍 마시는 따뜻한 물은 몸을 속까지 따뜻하게 만들어주므로 효과가 매우 좋다. 아침에 마시는 물은 조금 뜨겁게 70에서 80도가 좋다. 한편 따뜻한 물은 아침 시간 이외에도 거르지 않고 정성껏 마시면 몸이 더 이상은 쉽게 차가워지지 않는다. 짜증이 잘 나는 사람은 미지근하게. 평소에 화를 잘 내고 짜증이 많은 사람은 물을 미지근하게 해서 마시면 좋다. 물의 온도는 40에서 50도가 적당하다. 이런 사람은 대개 더위도 잘 못 참는 편인데 몸속에 불의 힘이 강한 상태라 몸이 지나치게 따뜻해지면 심하게 조바심이 나게 된다.
안 되지롱.
불의 힘이 지나치게 강하면 뇌사가 불만족스럽고 불안해지므로 몸을 과할 정도로 따뜻하게 해선 안 된다. 또한 피부에 염증이 있고 고열이 나고 설사가 지속되고 있을 때도 따뜻한 물보다는 미지근한 물을 마시는 것이 좋다. 지병이 있는 사람은 식사하면서. 몸에 이상이 있는 상태라면 소화력이 약해 음식 찌꺼기가 잘 쌓인다. 따라서 아침 이외 시간에도 식사하면서 따뜻한 물을 마시면 소화력을 한층 더 향상시킬 수 있다. 한편 살이 잘 찌는 편인데다 많이 먹지 않아도 체중이 감소하지 않는 사람은 식사하면서 따뜻한 물을 마시면 좋다. 몸속에 음식 찌꺼기를 쌓아두면 몸이 무겁고 나른해져 마음까지도 우울해진다. 새끼 식사 때마다 70에서 80도의 따뜻한 물을 마시면 몸과 마음이 모두 따뜻해진다. 식곤증으로 힘든 사람은 식간에. 낮에 몸이 나른하고 기운도 없고 졸음이 쏟아지는 사람 역시 몸속에 음식 찌꺼기가 많이 쌓여있는 상태이므로 서둘러 배출시켜야 한다. 이럴 때는 따뜻한 물을 꾸준히 마셔서 몸속을 깨끗이 만든다. 한편 체중 증가로 고민하는 사람도 끼니와 끼니 사이에 따뜻한 물을 마시면 효과를 볼 수 있다. 뜨거운 물 플러스 생강의 효과. 식사하면서 마실 때는 물에 생강을 넣는다. 소화력이 약한 사람, 몸이 무겁고 나른한 사람, 많이 먹지 않는데도 체중이 감소하지 않는 사람은 뜨거운 물에 생강을 넣어 마실 것을 권한다.
사람 진짜 못하네.
평소에 마시는 따뜻한 물 속에 생강 분말을 녹여 마신다. 따뜻한 물 200cc에 분말 생강을 3분의 1티스푼 정도로 아주 조금 넣거나 따뜻한 물을 끓일 때 얇게 저민 생강 몇 조각을 넣는데 물 1리터에 얇게 저민 생강 2-3장이 기준이다. 생강을 넣고 끓인 따뜻한 물은 생강의 불의 기질이 더해져서 넣지 않고 끓인 따뜻한 물에 비해 몸을 따뜻하게 하고 정화하는 힘이 강하다. 단, 생강을 넣고 끓인 따뜻한 물은 식사 도중에만 마셔야 한다. 아침과 식간에 마시는 물로는 적합하지 않다. 효력이 강한 만큼 많이 마시면 위에 통증이 생길 수 있기 때문에 위에 통증이 있을 때나 과거에 위궤양이나 위염 등을 앓은 경험이 있는 사람은 마시지 않는 것이 좋다. 반신욕과 따뜻한 물의 조합. 반신욕과 따뜻한 물의 조합은 특히 몸이 차가운 사람에게 권한다. 목욕한 뒤에 마시는 따뜻한 물 한 잔은 큰 효과를 볼 수 있다. 목욕한 뒤에는 찬물을 벌컥벌컥 마시고 싶겠지만 반드시 따뜻한 물을 마시도록 하자. 이 한 잔이 몸의 소화력, 정화력, 대사력을 더욱 향상시킨다. 또한 찬물보다 따뜻한 물을 마시면 물이 몸속으로 조금씩 스며들어 몸이 촉촉해지는 것을 느낄 수 있다. 이것은 누구에게나 권할 수 있는 방법인데 특히 위장이 약해서 생강을 넣은 따뜻한 물을 마시지 못하는 사람, 허약한 사람, 손발이 찬 사람, 정서가 불안해 쉽게 우울해지는 사람은 목욕하고 난 뒤에 따뜻한 물 한 잔을 마시면 각별한 효과를 볼 수 있다. 이상적인 체형 만들기. 체중 감량을 원하는 사람에게는 식사 후의 산책과 산책 후에 따뜻한 물 한 잔 마시기를 적극 권하고 싶다. 아침 일찍 한 잔을 하고 새끼 식사 중에 한 잔씩이라는 뜨거운 물 마시기의 기본 수칙을 지속적으로 실천하면 대개 2-3kg은 빠지게 마련인데 식사 후에 산책을 하고 산책 후에 따뜻한 물 한 잔을 마신다면 더 많은 체중 감량을 기대할 수 있다. 식사를 마치면 그 자리에서 몇 분간 휴식을 취한 뒤 15분 정도 가벼운 산책을 한다. 이때는 유유자적하며 천천히 걸어도 상관이 없다. 그리고 돌아와서는 반드시 100에서 150cc 분량의 따뜻한 물을 마신다. 산책 후에 따뜻한 물 한 잔은 소화력을 한층 향상시켜 몸 전체에 활발한 대사를 도와준다. 증상별 마시는 법과 식사법. 알레르기. 겨울철에는 과식하지 않는 것이 포인트. 잘 알려진 사실은 아니지만 꽃가루 알레르기는 몸속에 음식 찌꺼기가 쌓여있을 때 생긴다. 몸에 쌓인 음식 찌꺼기가 꽃가루에 반응해서 생기는 증상이다.
나
따라서
바보야.
따뜻한 물을 꾸준히 마셔서 몸속에 음식 찌꺼기가 정화되면 꽃가루 알레르기는 자연스럽게 개선된다. 꽃가루 알레르기는 달콤하고 칼로리가 높은 음식과 깊은 관련이 있다. 특히 밀가루, 설탕, 유제품, 초콜릿은 좋지 않다. 이런 음식을 저녁 식사 후에 디저트로 먹으면 음식 찌꺼기가 되기 쉬우므로 반드시 주의를 기울여야 한다. 겨울철에 이 4대 식품을 과식함으로써 몸속에 음식 찌꺼기가 쌓인 상태에서 봄을 맞이하면 꽃가루 알레르기 증상이 나타난다. 따라서 이들 음식물의 섭취를 의식적으로 자제하면 봄철에 꽃가루 알레르기 증상은 심하게 나타나지 않는다. 향신료로 정화를 촉진한다. 향신료는 몸속에 쌓인 음식 찌꺼기를 한층 빨리 연소시켜 몸을 정화하는 기능을 한다. 꽃가루 알레르기로 고민하는 사람들에게는 특히 강황, 고수, 회양풀, 생강, 흑후추 등 5가지의 향신료를 권한다. 강황은 알레르기 반응을 잠재우는 효과가 있으며 고수는 알레르기 반응을 중화시키는 효과를 갖고 있다. 또한 생강과 흑후추는 음식 찌꺼기를 정화해 노폐물을 배출시키는 효과를 발휘한다. 모두 분말로 된 것이 좋다. 평소에 수프나 볶음 요리를 사용하는 등 적극적으로 활용하면 좋다. 이 증상이 효과적인 따뜻한 물 마시는 법. 1. 아침에 일찍 마신다. 2. 새끼 식사 때 밥을 먹으면서 마신다. 3. 끼니와 끼니 사이에 2-30분 간격으로 마신다. 알레르기성 비염. 따뜻한 물을 마셨더니 알레르기성 비염이 좋아졌다는 말도 자주 듣고 있다. 따뜻한 물이 몸속에 독소를 배출시키면 꽃가루 알레르기나 비염 같은 점막계통의 증상이 확실히 개선된다. 따뜻한 물을 마셨는데도 개선되지 않는다면 음식 궁합에 대한 재검토가 필요하다. 대부분의 알레르기 증상은 음식 궁합에서 그 원인을 찾아볼 수 있다. 동맥경화. 동맥경화란 동맥이 노화로 인해 탄력성을 잃고 단단해지거나 동맥 속에 이런저런 물질이 끼어 혈액이 잘 흐르지 못하게 되는 상태를 말한다. 서양 의학에서는 동맥경화를 일단 발병하면 개선이 되지 않는 질병으로 판단하는데 따뜻한 물을 마시면서 식생활을 개선하면 낫는 경우도 적지 않다. 단적으로 말하면 동맥경화는 혈관이 막히는 질병이다. 즉 음식 찌꺼기가 혈관을 막고 있는 상태를 말한다. 따라서 따뜻한 물을 지속적으로 마시면 소화력이 향상되고 음식 찌꺼기가 연소되면서 동맥경화가 개선된다. 점심을 메인 식사로. 하루 중 인간의 소화력 순서를 살펴보면 낮, 밤, 아침의 순으로 강약이 있다. 동맥경화가 발병한 사람은 소화력이 확실히 떨어진 상태이므로 소화력이 가장 좋은 시간대인 점심을 하루의 메인 식사로 해야 한다. 점심을 잘 챙겨 먹고 아침과 저녁 식사는 가볍게 한다. 저녁 식사를 메인으로 하면 혈액순환이 잘 이루어지지 않는다. 밤 시간대는 우리가 상상하지 못할 정도로 소화력이 약해진 상태라 소화가 잘 안 되는 음식물을 섭취하면 곧바로 음식 찌꺼기로 변화한다.
왜 이렇게 잘하냐?
동맥경화로 의심이 간다면 일주일에 하루 정도는 저녁에 스프 정도로 간단한 식사를 하면 큰 효과를 기대할 수 있다. 스프는 야채나 콩류로 만든 부드러운 것이 좋다. 따뜻한 물을 마시면서 식사에 주의를 기울여 기본적인 소화력을 회복하게 되면 동맥경화는 자연스럽게 사라지게 된다. 이 증상에 효과적인 따뜻한 물 마시는 법. 1. 아침에 일찍 마신다. 2. 새끼 식사 때 밥을 먹으면서 마신다. 3. 끼니와 끼니 사이에 2-30분 간격으로 마신다. 4. 식후 산책을 마친 뒤 100cc 정도 마신다. 갱년기 장애. 몸은 차고 얼굴은 화끈거리는 증상. 여성의 경우 45에서 55세를 갱년기라고 하는데 이 시기에 접어들면 신체 기능에 불균형이 오기 시작한다. 불의 기질이 우세한 상태에서 바람의 기질로 점차 변화하는 시기이다. 이 변화가 원활하게 진행되지 않을 때 갱년기 장애라는 증상이 생기는데 당연히 이루어져야 할 신체 변화가 제대로 진행되지 않는다면 이미 30-40대의 수면 부족과 반복적으로 이어진 불규칙한 생활로 인해 바람의 기질에 불균형이 왔기 때문이다. 이렇게 몸의 균형이 깨진 상태에서 갱년기를 맞이하면 바람의 기질에 더 큰 혼란이 오게 되어 몸은 차고
If you've been following me for a while, you probably have heard me saying, drink more hot water first thing in the morning and before you go to bed. And you might be wondering, what is the perfect temperature of hot water? So here are my answers. First, there's no such thing as perfect temperature of hot water. Why? Because every body is different. Yes, depending on the place you live, weather, the food you eat, and also the season. And that is so important because when you stuck with the idea of, oh, I have to have hot water, this temperature, you really limit yourself. You cannot really have hot water at the restaurant because it's probably not the perfect temperature. Or maybe you cannot have hot water at your friend's place because you have to have perfect temperature water. So the second, listen to your body. Your body knows more than your brain thinks. When you have a perfect temperature of water, your body says, give me more, because it tastes so good. Hot water tastes so good. I have had many physical practitioners told me that they even replace their good coffee with hot water because hot water tastes so good to them. So listen to your body. Your body will tell you. For me, I drink hot water in the morning and evening, very close to the tea or coffee temperature. So it's very nice, hot. And then during the daytime, I carry hot water in my water bottle. So usually it's lower than the tea or coffee temperature because even though it's insulated, it reduces the temperature little by little. So it's lower than definitely the tea temperature. But it's easy to drink. And do not drink hot water too hot so that you start hurting your throat. You don't want to cook your throat. Think about the meat or something that put in a really hot water. It cooks. So you don't want to damage your throat by drinking really hot water. Like I said, body knows. So listen to your body. And when you start understanding your body, you communicate and you really started seeing the differences because you don't even need to think about it. Your body will tell you, it's a perfect temperature.
Ah, nice gotcha.
And it tastes so good. So, how to find the
nice.
perfect temperature of hot water? Listen to your body and keep drinking. And you start finding the perfect temperature for you, for your body.
Shikoe. Nice. Damn, man. Fuck. Fucking man.
Have you ever wondered if your body actually needs help detoxing? Or is this beautiful machine already doing it on its own? Because everywhere you look, there are detox teas, juice cleanses, and supplements all claiming to remove toxins from your body. And some of them make some pretty bold promises. Things like boosting your energy, clearing your skin, or even flushing out harmful substances that have supposedly been building up inside your body for decades. But if we step into the lab and actually look at a real human body, where would those toxins even go? Would they build up in your fat, your blood, your organs, and more importantly, do you have a system designed to get rid of them? Well, yes you do. In fact, you have multiple systems working around the clock to detox your body every single day. So today, with the help of the bodies in the lab, we're going to show you exactly how that works, what toxins even means, and whether or not your body really needs any help from a cleanse or some sort of detox supplement. It's going to be a non-toxic one. So let's jump into this anatomical and physiological awesomeness. The word toxin, or the phrase, that substance is toxic, get thrown around quite a bit, often with very little precision or context. And so before we get to certain organs and talk about detoxifying your body, let's clarify and define what a toxin really is. A toxin is essentially any substance that can cause harm to your body. And those substances can come from outside the body, what we would call exogenous toxins. And this could include things like alcohol, medications, environmental pollutants, or chemicals that you're exposed to. But your body also produces its own waste products, what we would call endogenous toxins. For example, every time your cells produce energy, they generate carbon dioxide as a byproduct, and you need to get rid of that before the levels get too high. When you break down proteins, you produce ammonia, which is actually toxic. So your liver converts it into urea, a much safer compound, before it can be eliminated. Even normal cellular metabolism creates compounds that, if they were allowed to accumulate, could disrupt normal physiological function. And that is a key point with many substances, if they are allowed to accumulate. Because toxicity is often dose dependent, meaning that many substances are not inherently harmful at low levels, but can become harmful at higher levels. Even something like water, which you obviously need to survive, can actually become dangerous if consumed in excessive amounts very quickly. And on the other end of the spectrum, substances that are clearly toxic can sometimes be tolerated by the body in small amounts because of the detoxification systems that the body has in place. So one of the most important things to understand is that your body is constantly producing and being exposed to substances that need to be managed and removed. Detoxification is not something that happens occasionally or only with the help of some detox supplement. It's something that is happening continuously every second of every day just to keep you alive. So if your body is constantly producing potentially harmful substances or being exposed to exogenous toxins, how does it actually deal with them? Well, this is where the anatomical and physiological awesomeness comes into play. Because instead of relying on a single detox pathway, your body uses multiple organs and systems that each play a specific role in identifying, transforming, and eliminating these substances. So let's start with one of the most important organs in this entire process, the second largest organ in the human body, the liver. The liver acts as kind of a chemical processing plant. When substances travel through the bloodstream and pass through the liver, specialized cells called hepatocytes begin to modify them. This can involve changing the structure of the substance to make it less toxic, but also many toxins are lipid soluble, which means they can easily cross cell membranes and are harder to eliminate. So the liver converts these substances into more water-soluble forms through a series of enzymatic reactions, making them easier to remove from the body, which we'll get to that part in just a second. But there are two important things we need to consider when it comes to the liver. The first is how quickly a substance gets there. If a substance is ingested through eating or drinking, the blood coming from the digestive tract goes directly to the liver. This is known as first-pass metabolism, and it allows the liver to modify that substance before it can circulate throughout the rest of the body. However, if a substance is absorbed through the lungs, the skin, injected directly into a vein, or even produced within the body itself, it may circulate through multiple tissues before it's first passed through the liver, which means it can potentially have effects on those tissues before the liver has a chance to modify it. The second thing to consider is capacity. The liver relies on a variety of enzymes to process these substances, and while these systems are incredibly effective, they are not unlimited. If exposure is high enough, like with excessive alcohol intake, it can overwhelm these pathways and reduce the liver's ability to keep up. But in a healthy individual, the liver does a very good job at managing these demands and converting substances into forms that can be eliminated. And once that happens, many of these substances are sent to the kidneys. You are actually looking at a frontal section of a real human kidney, and these little organs are constantly filtering your blood, removing water-soluble waste products and excreting them in the urine. Every day, your kidneys filter massive.
There's a rumor that warns not to drink cold water, but drinking water before meals at any temperature helps you eat less. If you drink more water when it's ice cold, adding some ice cubes might entice you to drink more. One study found that drinking cold water kept athletes from overheating and improved their performance. And another study showed that you sweat less after drinking tap water that's around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But there are some benefits to drinking warm water rather than cold. Healthline noted that drinking water between 130 degrees and 160 degrees Fahrenheit can help you breathe better if you have nasal congestion. It can also soothe a sore throat and help you digest. There's a rumor that warns not to drink cold water, but
What are you doing? Having a refreshing glass of water. Did you heat that up? Yes. Why? I like warm water. Jackson, no one likes warm water. I like my water warm. Stop hassling me. It's 45 today. Sometimes you gotta make sacrifice for what makes you happy. Is this a joke? There's nothing better after a hard day's work than a warm glass of water. Oh yeah, you know the serial killer you've been looking for? Yeah, I think I may have a lead. What are you doing? Doing what I should have done the first second that I saw this. It's not that weird. It's very weird. It's like the time that I call you eating powdered milk. My saliva mixes and it turns into regular milk. What? Look, Lachlan, not everyone's the same. You gotta start accepting people for who they are. Don't turn this into a moral lesson. You're the one drinking warm water. You gotta try some. No. Come on, try some. No. Lachlan, you can't judge me if you don't try it. Fine. And? It's warm fucking water. How good? You're a psychopath. A hydrated psychopath. Have you been taking water out of the fridge and putting it in the microwave? Not today, but usually.
What? I'm just checking to see if there's a brain in there. Typical of you cold water people. Always snarky. Cold water people? Jackson, that's everyone. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. I'm not agreeing to that. So you're disagreeing to disagree? Or you're disagreeing to agree to disagree? What? Oh, can I have some of that? Sure, what do you want on it? No, that's fine how it is. I like my toast dry.
We've probably heard doctors say that drinking roughly 8 glasses of water a day is ideal. However, what most people don't know is that warm water and hot water have some exclusive benefits of their own that you just can't get when you drink cold water. Here are 8 benefits of drinking hot water. 1. Helps digestion. Hot water is particularly beneficial for digestion. Studies have shown that drinking cold water during or after a meal can harden the oil present in the consumed foods. This can create a fat deposit on the inner wall of your intestine, which can eventually result in intestinal cancer. However, if you replace the glass of cold water with hot, you can avoid this problem. In addition, hot water is beneficial to digestion, which is what you want after a meal. 2. Body detoxification. Hot water is fantastic for helping your body to detox. When you drink hot water, your body temperature begins to rise, which results in sweat. You want this to happen because it helps to release toxins from your body and cleanse it properly. For optimal results, add a squeeze of lemon before drinking. 3. Prevents premature aging. There's a reason you should want to clear your body of toxins. They make you age faster. Also, drinking hot water helps to repair the skin cells that increase the elasticity of your skin and are affected by harmful free radicals. Subsequently, your damaged skin becomes smoother. 4. Bowel movement. Hot water can help to keep you regular as well as make your bowel movements healthy and pain-free. Dehydration can result in chronic problems with constipation. As the stool gets accumulated inside your intestine, the movement of the bowel becomes slower. It is always recommended that you consume a glass full of hot or warm water every morning when your stomach is empty. It decomposes any remnant foodstuffs and makes the movement of the particles smooth and less painful through the intestine. 5. Assists with nasal and throat congestion. Drinking hot water is an excellent natural remedy for colds, coughs, and a sore throat. It dissolves phlegm and also helps to remove it from your respiratory tract. As such, it can provide relief from a sore throat. It also helps in clearing nasal congestion. 6. Menstrual cramps. Hot water can also aid in diminishing menstrual cramps. The heat of the water has a calming and soothing effect on abdominal muscles, which eventually can help to cure cramps and spasms. 7. Hair health and vitality. Drinking hot water is also good for obtaining soft, shiny hair. It energizes the nerve endings in your hair roots and makes them active. This is beneficial for getting back the natural vitality of your hair and keeping it healthy. 8. Enhances blood circulation and promotes a healthy nervous system. Another important benefit of drinking hot water is that it enhances your blood circulation, which is important for proper muscle and nerve activity. In addition, it keeps your nervous system healthy by breaking down the fat.
Side effects of drinking cold water.
사이드 이펙트 오브 드링킹 콜드 워터.
Now here's some cold water. Many of you are saying, well, I love cold water. But hold on. I want to talk about the potential problems that we can experience drinking cold water when we're eating our meals. And there's no doubt that drinking ice cold water when our body's overheated is not going to hurt us because our body can bring its temperature back to where it needs to go, probably a little easier or a little faster with that cold water. But if your body is at a normal temperature, you're at home, you're relaxed, you're not burning calories, but you're eating, what can it do for you? Or what can't it do for you? There's no doubt that I like room temperature water because it can't harm you. But if you are one that likes hot water, let me just tell you a few things that it can do that's actually good for you. Hot water can help stimulate your digestive system and promote the digestion of your food, as it helps break down what you've consumed to help move it through your intestines. And there's no doubt that when you drink hot water, it's relaxing, it's calming. You feel more tranquil, easier to go to sleep. It causes vasodilation, more blood supply getting to our intestines as well as our body. And it can give you that endorphin relief where you feel maybe less pain, more happy, just plain relaxed. And drinking hot water can help relieve congestion, may soothe a sore throat, particularly if you are drinking tea, maybe putting some honey in it. And there's no doubt it's definitely good for the respiratory system. And drinking cold water while eating can decrease your digestion, affect your enzymes, slow things down, causing vasoconstriction. And that means less blood supply going to your digestive tract. And for some individuals, it may give you that stomach ache. That sudden temperature change can lead to a shock-like sensation. But when you have that cold water, just like if it's cold sodas, because everywhere you go, restaurants are always serving you drinks with ice. And there's no doubt that many of you will find no harm while drinking your cold soda or your cold water with your meal. But I want you to know that drinking too much water can affect your digestive enzymes. Because if you're diluting your digestive enzymes, the function of what they're there for, to help digest your proteins, your carbs, your fats, will be diluted. And that can lead to cramping as well as gas. And cold temperatures can also affect the natural muscle contractions that move the food through the digestive system. This delay can affect not only your emptying of your stomach and your transit of food through your intestines, but this will potentially cause those people out there who have problems, who've never really found the right diagnosis. It just might be in your glass. Yes, that ice that you're using day after day. I hope you found this video helpful. Please share it with your friends and family. Leave your comments below. And most important, make it a great day. I'm Dr. Alan Mandel. If you're drinking cold water or even your cold beverages, listen up. This can have serious implications on your digestion. Chilled water as well as these added beverages contract your blood vessels and can restrict digestion. And the big problem is the natural innate process of your body absorbing those nutrients in your small intestine can be hindered when you're drinking cold fluid. If you're drinking cold water or even your cold beverages, listen up. This can have serious implications. If you're drinking cold water or even your cold beverages, listen up. This can have serious implications on your digestion. Chilled water as well as these added beverages contract your blood vessels and can restrict digestion.
Do you drink cold water? Did you know that when you drink cold water, this shrinks blood vessels and may restrict digestion? The best water to drink is room temperature or warm. Like and share, the health basics are worth getting right.
Icarus. Bye bye. I'm leaving now.